SI, bit of a failure at Manchester. They don't want to fail here as well. They must get this win, get through, get into the playoffs. For ITB, it is that story, somewhat similar to like a Team Blizz. Can they make that next step? And we'll see if they can here. And it would be a huge step if ITB find a way to take down FaZe Clan.
Alright, let's jump straight into things then. It's basement first up. FaZe will open up on the defensive side. And I mean, already we're seeing some intriguing picks in terms of defender composition. Big talking point with the introduction of Striker and Sentry is how much play are they going to get at the competitive level. And we are going to see it brought out here, round 1 from KDS, and that super short. You can get to work on site construction. Interestingly enough as well, we actually highlighted a little bit before briefly the Solus, heavily nerfed heading into the most recent season. However, we'll still see some play time this time around, and again, compromised in terms of prep phase and ability to cut down in the drone utility department, but can still find value in the late round, and shotgun being run as well, again, to likely roam around here and try and find value off-site. Yeah, a little bit of that breach denial with the Tubarão and the Kaid for basement itself, but then you want to play into that roam game as well. Interesting, we do see the Sentry has been picked up. Will be a C4 barbed wire combo. Early days, but ITB doing their due diligence, not rushing into a building which is going to be filled with roamers. They're going to have to clear this out slowly. Kendrew through bar stock has got the kit in hand. Good position to get. Certainly want to get yourself in towards fireplace. This is really early though from Kendrew, maybe setting the pace and the tone for ITB. But Handy just watching at the stairs. 2 will fall to begin for ITB, wanting to go nice and fast in towards site, maybe catch FaZe off guard, but FaZe certainly at the ready. And a 3 kill to start here in this best of 3, holding in towards blue, but eventually pushing through. Noah and Oscar find 2, but down to just being by himself for Noah inside of the blue hallway. 3 versus 1. Kit over towards fireplace stairs. The head was there to be spotted on Cyber, but the shotgun too good. And a great start for FaZe Clan. Yeah, certainly not the worst of shot calls I've ever seen, as we could kind of see on the new HUD in terms of defender player positions. There were 4 off-site, and so the call there for ITB to try and exploit the Tubarão, isolate him on an island, then take side control, force a retake. In theory, not too bad, but one pesky piece of barbed wire down those main stairs, making that push a challenge. Tubarão winning out that fight, Handy there, dropping Kendrew, and then unfortunately the rest of the team sort of capitulates around that. It's like it's a 3-2 split essentially of your FaZe, right? You've got the 3 roamers up above, 2 on site, you're playing the Tubarão and the Kaid, and I actually really love that setup for FaZe too, because it means that we think about sometimes when it comes to basement chalet, if you play heavily into that roam game and far too heavily, you leave the site itself quite susceptible to a push like that. Say down fireplace stairs, sneak in through bar stock. But FaZe, they had that covered. They had players on site, they were in good positions, and ultimately for ITB, the fast-paced push was unsuccessful. Still, opening round. Those are usually the rounds in which you might want to pick up the pace a little bit. Now you might bring it back, and we'll see if they do that heading into the second one. For bar games we go. So KDS then on to the Azami for round number 2, and in that most recent patch that I was referencing earlier and they recently came out, we saw, I believe it was about a 20% increase in the damage that weapons and bullets and fire do towards those barriers. And so shooting them now should be more viable for the attack. And so for KDS, it's really critical that he manages those barriers correctly, gets value from them, doesn't waste them. And equally, ITB do a clean job in clearing them. Rat position is being held inside of library, rather common, and that will likely call for a utility dump into that position. Kendrew on the Capitao can use his flames to draw out Vidiking, who's going to be pretty eager to hold this position, hold that vault in from the double window, but he elects to overpeak, and Azza will shut him down for the opening kill of the second round. I mean, you say overpeak, but Vidiking probably has to be aggressive in that position. If he just holds in the corner, he's eventually going to get undone. He tries to see if he can either take one with him or eventually maybe get out of that spot. Good opening kill for ITB. Certainly a little bit more due diligent with their attack, more so just holding outside on the balcony, and the exterior gameplay here is strong. 3 outside, over towards library side. Can drop down, play big window. Pretty clear focus that for ITB on par games. They're gonna go direct, not looking to go for the full sweep across, playing in from a solar push. They do have Cyber in towards office at the moment for FaZe, so eventually you've got still that horizontal up top that can then come back to look to retake a position like top library. Utility being dumped then over towards that chimney position as a Noah combine. And this hold up above from FaZe proving to be rather delicate and easy to take down, especially after that opening engagement. Souls now all alone. And ITB showing what they're made of.
Yeah, really clean. I mean, really just full control over towards that library side. There's only a limited amount of numbers that you can have of the defenders in that position. If you're spreading across over towards like Office, for example, it's great if you're looking to stop like a solar push or you're trying to stop something over towards like balcony outside of Piano. But ultimately, if ITB just go direct, get that kill onto Vidaking, then they just vastly outnumber that position. And in the end, that is exactly what ends up happening. A really strong round and a good opening attacking round now for ITB that has been established. All the rounds they can get early on, certainly going to be great. And we see that angle there from Azza. It is razor thin.
Yeah, I really like from ITB there. They get the opening pick and then they elect not to overextend too early. They did their due diligence. They cleared out key positions. They dumped utilities such as the frag grenades and the Capitao bolts in their appropriate positions and made it very difficult then for FaZe Clan to find playmaking opportunities. Then they're able to lean into the advantage. They abused the pockets of space that they then afforded themselves. And from there, it was a rather clean attack from them. So good signs. We need to see ITB on their map pick, especially attack Chalet, get off to a good start. And so responding after round one, where it kind of fell apart, is good for their confidence.
Interesting side twist, though. I mean, I think in this current day and age for Siege, especially from what we maybe see in APAC, Bar Games is considered a little bit more of a tertiary site these days, where your kitchen dinings and your master bedrooms are typically seen a little bit more before it, and maybe a good reason as to why. Teams have certainly been able to attack into Bar Games a lot better in recent months than maybe when Chalet first came into the map pool. So 1-1 scoreline. Good start for ITB. FaZe look good in the opening round. ITB look good in the second round. That's what we want. Two heavy hitters going at it, and it's a blow for a blow right now. Back onto the sentry for FaZe Clan again. Barbed wire C4 combination. They've got quite a lot of nitrocells. Once again, they've got 3 in the back pocket for a round like this. You want to try and get the ability to deny plants on a kitchen dining site. It can be so crucial. Again, though, the Boss G coming out from Cyber, but unable to make contact, but just showing presence towards main entrance.
Yeah, I was waiting to see when it would be brought out. It is the Montaigne in the hands of Kendrew. FaZe Clan electing not to target ban, a shield off the board. Shield's generally quite strong at the moment.
Most banned operator at the event.
Yeah, for a reason. And we know that Kendrew can really get to work on that operator, give calls to the rest of the team, gain information and space as well alongside that. And so for FaZe on defense, the emphasis on them being able to shut that down. So we'll see what they're able to do. Again, continuing to switch up their compositions here. Warden, an intriguing pick. Now, the 3 armor can be used to lock down a key position. Currently up above. Office wall still yet to be opened. Currently electrified rather with the Electro Claw, but now cleared. First pick goes the way of ITB, and so too will the second.
It's becoming a common thing for FaZe. They lose one, they look for one more to try and trade it back, and they all just start to capitulate. We saw that in that last round, a little bit as well in the opening round, but it's like almost as if you want that immediate response, but you do so in such an aggressive manner. Unfortunately, that Vigil not going to be able to save the day. Great job from ITB. 2 rounds in a row, 2 attacking rounds in this defensive meta, and they are pumped. Great start. It is their map pick. And certainly if they're going to win this series, it needs to be here on Chalet to begin. But FaZe, a little bit of a problem. They've got a leak, and when they try to then plug that hole, they keep swinging out into these open areas. They don't have the full information, and that's why we're just seeing them fall one by one. One player gets picked, then they want the response immediately. They rush it, then they lose that one, and it all just snowballs apart.
Yeah, something that has become increasingly important as the Siege meta has sort of modernized is on the side of the attack, hitting those trigger points really perfectly and in sync. The whole team knows exactly at what point in the round or what event in the round they need to converge on their positions, the so-called split theory. I can't believe we're only on map 1 of our first pass.
I haven't heard Fresh say it myself at this event, so we can't be the first ones to talk about it.
Hopefully not. But a good example in that last round, immediately top wall open and then bang, bang, bang. And FaZe quickly in those moments are trying to crawl their way back, trying to find something in response. And ITB are not offering those opportunities. And so that's really clean attacking from them. And the kind of pressure building that has to just be constant over the course of this entire series, because FaZe Clan, with so much international experience, the Brazilian brand of Siege, they will adapt. They are not going to play the same way this entire map. There's absolutely no world in which that's going to happen.
Only managed 1 attacking round on border against Furia for ITB when you kind of consider an alternative Brazilian team. Two attacking rounds early here on Chalet, good signs. But we know FaZe, as you so mentioned before, battle-hardened, veteran kind of team. They're not going to be swayed by the early result that has so far been placed in this match. Back to Snow Wine. Last time out for ITB, they went the fast approach, didn't want to do the basics and the chores and looking to open up main breach. This time they're going to attempt it. Handy on the other side as the tube are out though, looking to freeze it, delay it, and just try and chew that clock.
Yeah, and I'm looking across at the overhead that we have off screen. Again, it's the one defender on site for FaZe Clan, so it's a very similar pattern to what we saw last time where ITB looked to exploit, just head down the stairs and force retake. This time though, attackers scattered far more across the map, probably going to try and force these defenders to vacate these positions and take control up above. They have the Nomad, for example, a great operator in cutting down those rotations or flank opportunities later in the round. But for now, it's about trying to gain this information first and foremost, and then applying pressure on these defenders, forcing them to move.
Yeah, a bit of a solo piano hold right now for FaZe that ITB are trying to clear out. Noah even doing so with the diffuser in his back pocket into bathroom. Play on the other side of the wall for FaZe. It's Creedza gets the opening kill in this round. Default taken out in the top itself, but a drop down has been made for FaZe. They'll look to start to make their way back to site. Don't really have a choice in this. There's only just over a minute remaining in the round, and ITB are clearing, and what an angle found from Noah. King a little bit too slow to get back to site, gets caught. 0-3 start for him, and a 2-0 starting this round now for ITB, searching for their third round in a row. They can play main breach, they've cleared him out. They know that for FaZe, they're back on site now. More drone game can come through because you've still got 50 seconds. A great round established now for ITB. It just comes down to the final product.
Yeah, and Creed still has one scan on the line as well. He'll be really wanting to maximize that in locking down these defender positions.
Headshot. Oh, gets it. Well, kind of. Job done from Noah. 7-1 start. Absolutely incredible on an individual level. But as a team right now, ITB firing on all cylinders. Little hold in towards blue. KDS with a reload. Needs to swing and find a kill, and he does. But he has 4 more that needs to be found in succession. An ace required to salvage this round for FaZe. Full white in blue. Pings everywhere, but nothing he can do and play off it. And Kenny's happy. The boys are pumped. It's a 3-1 start for ITB.
I don't want to curse it for the UK viewers, but it kind of feels like it could be coming home at the moment. I mean, holy, these last few rounds have been really clean from them.
First half of the first map of a best of 3. Settle.
I mean, we are like we're like honorary UK citizens, kind of, right? So
it's the motherland, but yeah. we're not.
We're getting a bit excited for them, why not?
Well, what's the issue right now for FaZe? Their defense has looked a little bit scrappy, and we actually praised their defense pre-match. We thought that was maybe going to be an element, especially going onto a map like Skyscraper. The difference is Skyscraper and Chalet defense play very different.
Again, it goes back to the ability to adapt sort of conversation that I was having. In that last round, again, FaZe, solo member on site, the 2-barrel, stalls out breach, fair enough, but it's ITB. The onus is on them to throw something different at them, and that's exactly what they did. Multiple players swimming up above, really good drone work, forcing those roamers into really high-pressure situations where they were able to capitalize. Good utilization of the utility from the line, for instance, as well. Getting, dotting their I's, crossing their T's with hard breach. Not really any of these fights, especially the first 2, were at all favorable for FaZe. And if that roam game completely falls apart, it doesn't take a genius to work out. If you've only got one player on side and the hold itself is weakened, you're not going to be in a good spot defensively.
It is the Swede that has really set the tone nice and early. Noah, I think, was 7-1 by the end of that round. Games and bar coming up, by the way. So another attempt here from FaZe Clan on a site that they already lost last time out pretty comfortably. Not the best of starts, but we did kind of say if we're ever going to see ITB win this series, it's probably first map, last map. Bank the decider, Skyscraper to follow after this. I kind of look at Skyscraper and it's got that more formulated, layered defense that should suit FaZe's game plan and style. But they just can't really get anything to string together outside of the opening round. And if you actually think about that round and you envision it, it was really just ITB just sending a rush in towards basement, hoping to maybe catch FaZe off guard. And they had a really well-positioned Handy, blocked off fireplace stairs, and really kept sight on lock while still having the roamers. If we think about it in the other rounds, ITB are getting opening kills. They're getting good spacing in the map. They're able to dictate the tempo. FaZe are on the back foot early, but it is early. Get 2 rounds here, close out the half, get it to 3-3, and we're singing a different tune.
Well, last time it was King to fall in this key position. Corner of library. the ability that needs, or the operator rather, that needs to try and soak up utility. So it's the dock this time around. And sometimes we see the Stim pistol actually used to sustain damage against the flame. That's just really good timing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. Handy does eventually hit the trade from down below, so it's not the absolute worst case scenario, but they continue to lose fights. FaZe continue to lose fights. They're not even looking the right way half the time. ITB continue to catch them off guard.
Multi-layered attack there from ITB from different avenues and different angles. FaZe so concerned about that library push, but then you've got players outside on the balcony. Handy, the solo, maybe not anticipating the positioning here on the stairs. That's Creed's. Take the 1v1, can't, well, actually they'll trade, but it's ITB that get the win, and that's 4 rounds in a row to begin in this best of 3 in the lower bracket. Win and you go to the playoffs, lose and you go home. That is what is at stake. And a great start to the opening map for ITB. 1 round to go in the half.
This can't be a very good feeling if you're FaZe Clan, a team that is renowned, from a region renowned for adapting on the fly. You are being outclassed at the moment. ITB continue to throw different little curveballs at these defensive setups that is quite simply catching them off guard. I mean,
yeah, what's Sol's doing there? What is Sol's doing there?
Falls in front of the window, dies. Second player follows, also falls to the grave, and ITB just mop up, I guess, the continuation from that discussion as well, as they continue to put themselves in great positions, but they're also converting, which is, you know, easier said than done in Rainbow Six. So they're doing a good job at the moment.
A lot of the times when you have these kind of mismatched matchups, we saw the audience favor 80 to 20% favor of FaZe, and very much we were in agreement. You don't want to give that underdog a leading start. You don't want to give them that hope. You don't want to give them that hype and that momentum that can certainly be built with a good opening map. In this case, a good opening half. 1 round to go. ITB searching for a 5th round in a row. FaZe needing to just try and stem the tide and really just hold on right now. And it's going to be double shields coming to close this half from Noah and Kendrew.
If you lose the double shields, I think your mental's chalked for map 1. You just write it off. We'll see how FaZe play into it, though. I wonder what ITB are going to look to cook up here. An interesting decision. As I mentioned before, shields are in a really good spot at the moment in terms of meta. But typically, very rarely will we see teams invest doubly so into shields. Could be a breach stack of sorts with maybe Noah going for the re-hit through.
Could be a breach rush. Potentially, although one of the other shields, and you can see off in the distance, Noah isn't quite with the party. Distance away.
Yeah, I think he's looking to vault in for the back hit as they open the front breach, but the Tubarão has just complicated that. It's been mainstay for FaZe on this site, so it's not necessarily coming as a surprise for ITB. Breach eventually opened up, but they will not elect to push off that immediately, instead rotate elsewhere.
We'll say 4 Nitrocells available for FaZe Clan, and straight in towards Wine. The Blitz makes his way through, Creeds with another opening kill, but eventually does lose his life to Vidiking. The flash, the pistol, it's successful. Headshot, wow. It's a 3 versus 3. Sight is vulnerable, in towards Blue, and again, the pistol a little bit though off the mark in that case. The flash though, it isn't. Player down on the floor behind Noah though, he's just too good. Vidiking apparently blew himself up. FaZe have capitulated in the opening half. It's a 5-1 statement from ITB.
Yeah, remarkable rotation there from ITB. They stacked that blue position as we kept our eyes on the blitz through Con. And I think that round probably encapsulates the pressure that ITB were able to build in that half. They threw so many different ideas inside of the server and they all just continued to stick. I mean, Kendrew here, as I mentioned, through blue, put so much pressure on Vidiking, who then blew himself up with the Nitro, I guess a trade of sorts, but nowhere elsewhere, got to work. Cyber then ran back into the chaos. And that is the struggle that can be faced on that side. One player defending, others need to retake. With so much chaos around the objective, it's very, very tough. So a 5-1 half in favor of the underdogs. And for FaZe, I don't really know what to say at the moment. It's certainly not the result I expected at this point in the match.
Yeah, and one caveat as well to all of this, and I still think highly of FaZe's Skyscraper, but you've got to keep in mind that ITB picked Skyscraper yesterday against GK. They are going to be far and away ready for that particular map once we do get there. Bank the decider, if we get there, will be quite an even playing field, but for right now, a 5-1 start to ITB. We'll see if this ends up being, though, maybe rather attacker-sided. Defending here could be a bit of a struggle. FaZe, you get a couple of rounds, you can really get that momentum to flow. We know they're a very experienced veteranship team, The ITB, they're just playing on confidence right now, raw confidence, and playing behind Noah, who was led from the front. A 10-1 start for him. He gets the Warden license, and we'll see if he can continue to frag out here on the defense.
Yeah, Warden critical hit in the face of that Ying from Souls. But a pretty counter-heavy lineup from the attack. Ash into Mirror can destroy those windows. Flores for the Azami keep barriers as well. But at the moment, all eyes on side with the lurk down below. Such is the nature of Chalet. Offers really good opportunities for these attackers to get in quite freely on the fringes of the map and then lurk around and catch defenders as they rotate through the mid-round as the rest of the attacking pressure comes through. And so for now, Cyber can just sit and wait. I think the 2 kills for him so far. No one from FaZe going positive. A sentence that I did not think I would be saying this evening.
I will say, though, at least for FaZe, it's certainly a case where it's the whole team. It's not just 1, 2, 3 players, right? It is the entire team that is definitely struggling to begin in this series. Fortunately for them, plenty of time to turn around, not just in this map, but it is a best of 3. You can go to your map pick of Skyscraper and look to get things back on your terms. Slow approach, though, from FaZe. You can see the tempo difference as well between the two teams from what we got in that opening half. ITP, fast approach, into sight, clearing out, playing together. FaZe, a minute 10, and we're still out in the balcony.
Reloading.
Yeah, I might be able to slow cook in this round, but certainly at the moment, it's only 60 seconds and limited ground taken. It doesn't paint the brightest of pictures for the Brazilians at the moment.
I'm calling a meeting. Done.
It's the final logic bomb that has been called as well by Vidiking in towards Piano, cleared out by KEDS. Opening kill, Creeds again, I swear. That might be like 3 rounds in a row that he has found the opening kill for ITB. He gets his 7th kill of the game. Little peek in towards sight. Hello, though, it's Creeds again. Handy will fall. 2 players down. At least Vidiking gets one back. Keeps this interesting, but with only 30 seconds remaining in the round, ITB, I think, are in the better position to find their 6th round in a row.
Oh, Oscar up close, but he falls. KDS good for 1 in the round. 20 seconds, 3 versus 3, but ITB should have the positional advantage.
Creeds has been good in this round, continues to hold a good position towards Library Stairs. Drop to come following the Candelas of Souls. No, the drop, it's not coming straight away. Creed still playing Library Stairs, looking to clear out Barstock. The swing is successful from Souls. There's only 5 seconds though left, and Souls is a solo with no kit, no time, no chance, and ITB make it 6-zip. 6-1 lead, 6 in a row, and now map point.
Wow. I got a little bit nervous for them there. I thought maybe off the back of the Warden falling, we'd see some really good value from the Ying. We saw it somewhat onto the Mirror over towards Backstore. But then the likes of Kendrew over towards Bar, unfazed by the flashes, able to step up, rise to the occasion, and lock down that round for ITB, leading from the front.
Bomb diffuser has been
Creeds, though, I mean, backtracking a little bit. Big 2K from him. And it's those kinds of plays and those kinds of matches and performances that the rest of the team can just relax a little bit more, knowing that someone's out there firing. They can just play their role, not have to make up for anyone struggling, which just puts them in such a comfortable position.
Such a dangerous matchup, right? It's very easy on paper to look at this and say FaZe are the favorites. SiCran finalists, multiple times semi-finalists, and technically a regular when it comes to playoffs. If they lose here, they don't make playoffs. This would be one of their worst results in years if they were to lose this series. So for FaZe Clan, they are the favorites in this game, but they have been stunned, shell-shocked by ITB's fast start here on Chalet. While it's only 1 map, what is the logical damage maybe for the rest of this series? ITB are going to gain so much momentum and hype and hope going into Skyscraper. For FaZe, this might well be one that you kind of just wave the white flag, move on to the next map.
Yeah. Which is strange to hear aloud, but I tend to agree.
And Creeds, another opening kill. Seemingly in the right place at the right time in all of these rounds, and he joins Noah now with double-digit kills. ITB, and certainly would have been the biggest advantage that they've had. Opening kills. Constantly with the numbers, constantly outnumbering FaZe. Even sometimes when it is a 5v5, they just know where to position, so they've got the numbers in all of these fights.
Yeah, in every single one of the rounds they've won, they have found a clear advantage and been able to exploit it. Which in general, in competitive Siege, can sometimes be a very big challenge. But against teams of the stature of FaZe, it's sometimes near impossible. But here on Chalet, they're finding those opportunities, they're converting them. Now again finding themselves in 5 versus 4. Map point on the line.
Spray. I mean, like right now for Cyber and for FaZe, it's just kind of a pray and spray. It works this time as Oscar decided to step forward and maybe try and just take the fight. Didn't really need to. Certainly could have fallen back. Played a bit of spacing. Instead, wanted to try and get into the fragging party. He's only got the 3 kills. Only seconds left of the round on a 4 versus 4. Drop down from the balcony. It's Handy, though, who tries to make entry. Over towards Fireplace, loses his life to Noah. No surprise, 11-2. Massive KD for him. And has been a clear standout for ITB along with Creeds. They've really set the tone. And again, advantage for ITB.
And Malusi back in meta. That's just making the lurk game as well a little bit more of a challenge for the likes of Cyber. Elsewhere, Hardbridge getting to work. Vidaking still up. Only Habana. And so Office Wall will be opened up and an avenue towards a default plant will likely follow. Although that will still be a challenge, I presume, as well. A Yokai is probably still up in sight as well, feeding information. It is inside of Office. I can see Kendrew flicking that at the moment. And so ITB will know exactly when
nothing on the backside
comes through. Well, they don't have the pinch potential now in the 3v4.
It's all going to be frontline. ITB are going to have all of the angles as well, the deep angles in towards site. They're in a really well position to close out this round and this map. 35 seconds left. FaZe don't have the positioning. They don't have the numbers. They don't really have a whole lot to win this round from this position.
There's that Yokai. They can deny default plant. Vidaking's going to attempt, but there's no way he'll be able to stick this.
Yeah, I mean, just to add insult into injury. Oh, he misses it! The Yokai doesn't hit! The kid is successful, and Vidaking can now play off it with the flashes, and suddenly with the double kill, 2 FaZe clan, they've turned this tide around. Azza, up close and personal. But with the down onto Cyber, suddenly KDS is the only one up in a 1v2 post-plant situation. Down to Kendrew and Azza to finish this one off! Yeah, the boys! 7-1 for Into the Breach on Chalet. They take down FaZe in the opening map.
My. What a map and what a final round. ITB able to salvage that one, and they'll be very pleased with how they've been able to open up the account, but job not done yet. They still need to apply that pressure heading into FaZe's map pick, but I tell you what, they have made one hell of a statement in the last 30 minutes.
How did that Yokai not hit?
I think they need to go back in the customs and try that one again.
To be fair, that kind of looks like a pixel perfect angled position, right? Very fine margins, but it just doesn't land. And at that point, they're like, oh, we've got to try and now salvage this. Kit's down and it's a 3v2, but they did.
Yeah.
And that really probably is the best way to describe that map, is it went all ITB's way. Even when it didn't, it still found a way to go ITB's way. 7-1, what a result. We certainly didn't anticipate that. I felt like coming into this series that if they could win Chalet, like maybe we could have a series. But it's the way in which they won Chalet that I now think FaZe might be in some trouble.
A little bit of trouble. But FaZe, they have shown really good resilience on the international stage before. I think they might be able to do it again.
That's the thing, right? Don't discount FaZe. I know you want to get behind the ITB hype, and I know that you want to now start to think they could do something very special, and it would be to make the playoffs, to knock out FaZe, to do all of that. It would be very special. There's another map. Before we get to that map, though, let's go and see Ginny and the stage have to say.
All right, let's just jump straight into here, Tristan. ITB 7-1 against FaZe Clan on a map that we were questioning whether or not they'd be able to replicate yesterday's success.
I mean, we're taken back a little bit like that, right? Like, that is a crazy performance. Like, you heard the coach as well going insane for every round. Yeah, I mean, amazing from them. Amazing.
We talked about the importance of them coming into this matchup, particularly Creeds, and just being really confident, really aggressive, not changing anything up based on what we've seen yesterday, and it felt like that's exactly what we got.
That's exactly what we saw. I mean, his scoreline was crazy as well, right? He was like 10-2, 20-3 going into one of the last rounds. Amazing from him. I'm so glad to see him still running around confidently outside of the building, getting opening picks, because it's so hard, especially, I mean, even for an experienced player, to know that a team has watched you and then you can't make the same play again. But sometimes you can do the same thing again. People won't expect you to.
Yeah, it seems to be working from their side of things, but I also want to jump a little bit in terms of the FaZe Clan's performance. I said we had a lot of expectations from them. There's a lot of pressure on them as well, considering it's not just Siege that they're competing into. You have that club championship coming into play as well. But it felt like this time around, it's getting to them.
The only thing you can say about that first map that has any kind of silver lining for them is it was ITB's map choice. ITB do really like Chalet, and as Anne pointed out, this was quite a weird one in terms of map bans, as there's maps that one team really likes and one really doesn't like. We sort of expected it to be a little bit like that, but not a 7-1.
No, absolutely not. And I think this also speaks a lot of volumes in terms of what we could potentially be hearing from the coach side of things when it comes to FaZe, because when you're in such a situation where you're technically to an extent expected by, what was it, a 88% majority to actually win this game, you're then heading into it and it's a 7-1. What do you do?
Honestly, you have to just tell your team that well, map 1 didn't happen. Realistically, there's nothing we can do about it now, right? Like, it didn't happen. Well, we had one good round. Let's celebrate the one good round, but ultimately, you have to forget about it. You have to forget about it. Let's do a complete reset, and let's start focusing on, right, what's next? We're on our map. We're comfortable. It's our selection. We wanted to go here, right? So for us, it's about, you know, what does the strategy say to us? What did we maybe learn from map 1? But you've got to be quick and snappy with it, too.
What did we learn then in regards to map 1, both from the side of FaZe Clan particularly, but also from ITB? Because I feel like for ITB, the takeaway is going to be just stick to our guns, stick what we're comfortable with, stick to that aggression. But from FaZe Clan's thing, what can they take away from it?
I mean, we spoke about this in the segment beforehand, on the desk, on the floor, whatever we want to call it. It was about ITB. If they were going to win this map, or if they were going to win this series against any team the level of FaZe, I want to see variety in attacks. I want to see directs. I want to see clears. I want to see baits. I want to see phantom pressure, that kind of thing. And they did a great job of it. I think FaZe kind of be looking at this thinking, we kind of expected things to be direct a lot more. I'm seeing a lot of Cade, Tuberal type of thing being played, and that sort of combo. But ITB weren't scared of doing a clear. Against Furia the day previous, they were scared of doing clears. They were really scared, but they weren't this time around. And I think that diversity for them made it difficult for FaZe.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the theme that we keep seeing from FaZe side of things, where when a team throws a spanner into work, when they do something differently than what they're used to, they don't necessarily have the tools available to respond. And you'd expect from a team like FaZe, with their seniority, with their experience, to not find it that difficult to do so.
And it's what we spoke about beforehand with FaZe too. If you're going to do well as FaZe, Cyber's going to pop off, right? Going into that last round, he only had 2 kills going into that. That's difficult for them. That's real difficult. When you've got Noah, I believe, was going 10-2 at that point. Creed's going 10-2 at that point. We need more from Cyber as well, and I'm sure he will be feeling that pressure himself.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure on both of these teams though, but in terms of how this map went and some of the incredible plays that we've seen, we're heading over to Anne to break down a telestarter, so take it away.
Thank you so much, Jenny. I'm really glad that you two spoke about the diversity in the attacks of Into the Breach, because I have a clip to display that we did indeed see them do these kind of full clears. We'll go to the big screen behind me because I have a clip ready to show what Into the Breach was doing on their attacks. Now we're seeing a take 4 bar, and what we're seeing here on this exact frame is that we're seeing players outside of the library balcony, we're seeing players outside of the office balcony, but also someone directly at that bar window. Now they have to deal with the situation that's going on upstairs, meaning that they have to clear out that Kiba barrier, they have to clear that Azami on top main stairs. We're seeing Oscar deal with one of the Kiba barriers, and then simultaneously on the other side, over at the office balcony, is what we're seeing in just a few seconds. We're seeing Noah deal with the Kiba barrier as well. He's going to use a grenade, he's going to use a flash, just to make sure they're getting rid of that player there. Someone swings from office, being taken care of by Noah as well. Now that they have that control over top mezzanine, Noah drops down towards the main lobby door, and he's going to hold this line of sight towards where we currently see KDS playing. They've got this top 4 control, they have this pressure on the main door, and simultaneously, unfortunately we just missed it, but the player has also hopped into the site. Kendrew was initiating the plant, has stopped because they got the main lobby pressure gone. They have this pressure on site as well. The plant doesn't even need to go down. They just have that control and are waiting for these FaZe players to come back. Now what we did is very simple, very basic, but it was showing how Into the Breach was making sure they could go for these full clears. I want to see more of that, of course. We have 2 more maps coming up very, very shortly as well. But before we do that, we do have Jackie with an update on the B stream.
Hey everyone, it's Jackie Jing coming to you from the secondary stage, and behind me we have Scars versus Dark Zero. Elimination on the line. One of these teams is going home, and right now, at last check-in, Scars was up 4-3, which is probably going to be pretty shocking to many people watching at home. Now, Scars, before this map 1, they were screaming, they were smiling, the vibes were high. Dark Zero, completely the other side of the spectrum there. They were pensive, they were focused. Scars is just playing carefree with nothing to lose. It seems like Dark Zero really feeling the pressure at this point. I spoke with Dark Zero before this tournament had started, and they were talking about their experience and how they're really coming together and how the synergy is great. Well, we're hoping that we'll see that as the rest of map 1 continues. But remember, you can watch the stream on B and A. Just throw them up on both monitors because there are some thrilling series happening right now. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll see you in a little bit.
Well, the opening map was close to flawless for Into the Breach. 7-1 the result. 7 rounds in a row as well to take Chalet. It was their map pick, a dream start, but the story not quite finished just yet, guys. More so just a chapter that has closed. We'll see if now for FaZe, the response that is required can come through.
Well, it is their map pick up next, Jake, so expecting a better result, but some soul searching, I think, surely after that first map. A disappointing result from them, a team known for adaptation, struggling to get their foot back in the door after it got slammed shut by ITB round after round after round. ITB, I mean, if you're just tuning in, played some really damn good Cs. That was not by any means a fluke result. Round after round, they were ruthless. And so if they can bring that into a Skyscraper, who knows if they can cook something up here. Defense to kick things off on Sky. They can continue this streak if they play well.
Into Skyscraper we go with the second map. Montaigne
double shield ban.
Blitz also banned out. Sus lobby?
Sus lobby. I mean, honestly.
Where's the Clash ban as well? Why not? Get rid of all of the shields. No, it's the Tuberal from FaZe.
Well, every single operator so far was played on map number 1. In fact, we had a previous basement defense where ITB brought double shield and absolutely demolished FaZe, but neither available here. And that's going to probably significantly change up their approach here on Skyscraper. So intriguing to see. They themselves electing to take off one of those shields. It is Kai to round things off as we prepare for map number 2.
Yeah, must win now for FaZe. And for them, it was a travesty of a map. Considering the opening round, I thought they played fine. Their positioning was good. We think all the way back to that basement site where the two down, 3 up situation. ITB tried to play fast. They played it pretty well in defense. Got off to a good start. What was intriguing to me, though, was that for a lot of teams, I think, especially if you go up against a team like FaZe, you think, okay, opening round, can we blitz them? Can we get off to a fast start? Then when that doesn't work, it's very easy to say, okay, let's just reel it back, right? Let's slow down the pacing. ITB, while they didn't quite double down, they kept that same pacing. They kept that same mentality, like, no, if we're going to beat FaZe, we need to be aggressive, we need to attack, we need to go fast and set the tempo. They did that really well. We'll see if they can now manage that on Skyscraper, and where the tempo is typically set on this map is usually on defense.
Yeah, you think about how aggressively teams want to roam off-site. Do they introduce vertical play up above or down below, depending on the specific side, and also, I guess, more generally, what sort of composition they want to bring to the board as well. And so you look at the likes of the Malusi, which is going to be a hot talking point throughout the conclusion of this event, given the recent buff. Now a shotgun for construction and an extra Banshee. You think about Mozzie as well. He's just a set and forget operator, so that gives Noah the ability to run around and frag out. So I like this from ITB. Already some early signs that they're going to bring a similar style of play onto a map that is significantly different, so translating that can be tough. Handy though, taking 100 points of damage already to open up this round.
It was Noah and Creeds who were the star standouts for ITB on the opening map. Creeds typically the one with the opening kills. This time it is Noah. Oh, the Nitrocell too far though. Up close, it is Vidiking with the opening kill. Noah actually got a kill with that Nitrocell despite losing his life to close and fast approaching Vidiking into a decent position. Still a lot of time here. FaZe with a more fast approach, but it is Oscar that does give the advantage now for ITB. Cyber continues to push, and with the double, now it's a 1v1, courtesy of that Nitrocell onto KDS. There is still 2 minutes left in this round. It's a 1 versus 1. Talk about tempo from FaZe Clan here to begin. A team that is known for their more slow pace gameplay, and the kit is going to be successfully put down on the floor by Cyber.
Pros don't fake. Cyber now, though, his position is known, and Azza has been able to quick peek that. Patient as he waits. Cyber rotates, now caught off guard, and Azza are able to close it out, and ITB continue their streak.
Yeah, scrappy round, wasn't it? But set by FaZe. FaZe wanted to be scrappy. They were like, okay, well, ITB, you want to play fast, you want to be aggressive on Chalet, we might look to try and match that. But I don't know if Skyscraper's really the map for that. Tea Room Karaoke, sure, you can hit it hard and fast, but even there, yeah, you get the quick kill onto Noah, but he still got one with the Nitrocell anyway. The good news for ITB, really, throughout all of this, is they were in good positions to get these trades and just keep these kills flowing. And even in this spot, Cyber finds 2 very nice kills, but then at the same time, Azza, Nitrocell, it was already in hand, playing off ping information, then it's a 1v1. So at no point in the round, despite the fast pace from FaZe, were they able to kind of get away from ITB, establish a bit of a foothold. It was just never their round. ITB, yeah. They have carried the momentum from Chalet into Skyscraper to begin. That was a wonderful defense. 1-0 start.
Man, I'm absolutely loving Kenny's energy behind the boys at the moment. He's absolutely loving it. But the trades, I mean, they were ruthless from both teams through, well, I want to say mid to late round in the context of that round. But as you mentioned, there wasn't in terms of time a whole lot left. And I wonder if that's a sign of things to come. Have FaZe had a discussion post-map 1 and said, okay, if they're going to play like that over on Chalet, let's bring our brand of Skyscraper up the tempo here for the second map and see if they can match it on map number 2. Try to test them, see if they can rise to that challenge. Only time will tell, but ITB rising to set occasion there in the first round. And heading into the second in terms of composition defensively, again, the Vigil for the roam. Good site construction operators available as well. Traps as well, doubling down with Legion and Capcan to make that lurk game a challenge for FaZe.
Oh, Creeds. Love this angle. Continues to hold it. The peek out though, can't find a head. Playing the Vigil. Knows there's a couple of players outside though of this position. On the balcony, he knows he's in this position.
Ooh.
I thought Handy actually was about to just get on that drone and get swung. Finally, it feels like something goes the way of FaZe. It hasn't throughout this entire series.
Yeah, a little bit of a 50-50, but FaZe will take that at this point in time, looking to disrupt the streak now.
Don't need to double down though. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, an angle found onto Oscar. Finally. Since the opening round of Chalet, FaZe have really had nothing going for them. The peek out from Azza, though, is successful on the vault. Back into Drum for White. The flash, though, largely ineffectual. KDS on the rappel, trying to ward a player off. I think that might be Noah, who falls to Cyber, and FaZe have got themselves in a really good position. Don't forget, Oscar is still down in Geisha, so it's a 4 versus 2.
And that means that FaZe should be able to exploit site. Kenju goes for a run out. An act of desperation, but ITB had to try and cook something up. Unfortunately, a little bit underdone, and FaZe finally get their second round in this series.
Is that the first round, though, where I felt like for ITB, their aggression level was somewhat maybe too much? You're playing an office exhibition site that you probably don't have to then, you know, go for vault outs, go for run outs, and that was a very aggressive run out of the house balcony. Early on, I mean, I know Creeds is hot. He's very hot. Go for it, sure, because you've been able to show you've got that form built out throughout the early part of this series. But nevertheless, the aggression levels there of ITB probably cost them in the end. But it has also been working out in their favor for a large portion of the series, so hard to be too critical.
Yeah, it's just about balancing risk v reward. I'd say, generally speaking, in Rainbow Six, that's what it can be boiled down to in a lot of instances, right? This balance of risk and trying to catch the opponent off guard against, you know, the challenges that then presents and the opportunities that the opposition can exploit. So a good example there of FaZe being a little bit more switched on to that and actually being able to capitalize. We didn't see a whole lot of that back on Chalet, and so it breathes some life into this series and establishes now the fact that FaZe are not going to give up all too easily.
It's only one round, but it feels so critical for FaZe because in terms of that momentum swing, it was firmly over to the side of ITB, well and truly.
Whoa. I mean,
interesting setup.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. We've got the mirror windows for the top floor clear in combination with both Keeper barriers and castle barricades to make that really difficult for FaZe.
This might actually be, ironically, the round that they do bunker down then, where they probably don't want to be going outside, vaulting, playing on the balconies, play off of this setup, be a little bit more of an anchor that we typically see on a map like Skyscraper.
I mean, this looks really fancy from ITB. We'll see how successful it actually is. FaZe will want to take their time here and actually isolate these positions. First, though, need to gather information, have a read as to what has actually been placed before them. Thatcher will be critical. KDS, as we're watching on screen now, and clearing these bandit batteries for the clear over towards Geisha. Key part of the map, again, looking to lean into those mirror windows facing against the drum clear, etc. We saw the other mirror window facing towards T as well. We'll see if there's actually a bandit trick opportunity here for Noah.
Yeah, he's got that.
Just. Oh. Okay. Well, that position now exposed off the back of this Selma.
Actually really well worked there from FaZe Clan. It was kind of like you can have one, but you're not going to get both here. So now he's in a bit of a position. Do you want to continue to hold makeup? He can. They haven't got Geisha control. Once they get Geisha control, he probably has to push out of this. but you can still play off that mirror window now. The good news is, though, it's actually good because now you've kept them from opening the single wall outside, when you can play the mirror in towards Drum. So yes, they've opened up that makeup wall in from Drum's side, but he can just still play the mirror window anyway, and he can swing from this, but he loses the battle against Souls. Huge kill for FaZe, who are slowly navigating this intriguing setup from ITB.
Yeah, I wouldn't have described that as a favorable fight for FaZe, but they make it work. And they compound the pain for ITB, who put a lot of stock in this hold up above.
They're back.
They lose that first fight. And FaZe, as you sort of are alluding to, back on the map.
Well, it's just the way they worked through that round. Flawless and perfectly described. Thank you very much, game. Because it was flawless from FaZe. They didn't rush. They didn't get full hot stead of him. They didn't try to brute force their way. They worked out pretty quickly as well. We can either try and open up makeup from outside on the balcony or from Drum side. And then the way that we play the rest of that round is going to be rather typical based on what we can get from that. Really well worked. I still like the strategy from ITB. I don't think necessarily they did a whole lot in that round.
Like I sort of mentioned, I don't feel as if that first initial engagement that we sort of saw from the Drums transition over towards Geisha was really that favorable for FaZe. But it also highlighted the weaknesses of that kind of setup where that key position has to be held because it holds together the rest of the
It was holding it Noah, right? I mean, I think it was. And even in that swing against Souls, it's not really a case of like who was favorable, but it was a very winnable fight. You win that, suddenly then that position doesn't get gained. And as you said, it's a very valuable position to hold in this situation.
Yeah, totally agree. ITB tactical pause though at the moment, and so just probably chatting over that previous round, what went wrong.
Nice done from Kenny there, nice and early, right point, 2 rounds in, where well, 2 losses that they have looked not quite shaky, not doing a whole lot wrong, and maybe it'll just be a case, yeah, that's just a straight 50-50.
I mean, it's just the jiggle gets timed slightly wrong there from ITB, and it just unlocks so much.
Yeah, he needed to be a little bit more aware. As soon as Noah dies, that position in the hallway, incredibly vulnerable, and you're right, it just unlocks so much in the round. So if that doesn't happen, then Creeds doesn't die. If Creeds doesn't die, then you lose. You don't have hallway control. Like the snowball effect.
They had no other in. They had no other in on the round. It all really boiled down to that fight. But hey, small margins in Siege at times, and so in a match that at the moment feels like it could end up being quite close, those little moments could be defining moments in the series.
We know Skyscraper heavily defender side at 72% so far at the tournament through 22 rounds. Small sub sample, but I mean even outside of this tournament, we know Skyscraper is one that always leans into the defense. So for ITB to give up 2 attacking rounds now to FaZe, well-timed timeout from Kenny. 3 rounds through, now you go back around the world and think, okay, 3 more rounds in the half, always a well-timed one when you get into that third round and it has finalized. Let's see, okay, how are we going? And maybe it'll just be a case of just playing like, boys, not playing bad here, they're getting a couple of rounds, they're winning a lot of these contact fights, they're winning a lot of these entry fights, which is opening up the map. We need to try and squeeze them a little bit tighter defensively. Let's not give our lives away too early in these rounds, giving them position. We'll see if they can look to just be a little bit cleaner on these entering contact fights.
So we'll see the Ying in play then here for round number 4. And Handy at some point in the round is going to be pretty eager to gain space and flash out these defenders. There is no Warden on the board, so that's one threat that FaZe don't need to be concerned about. As the exterior wall will be opened up off the back of the ace summons from Souls. Information gained on the Creeds. Slow start for him this time around. He was dominating on Chalet, especially in the entry department at the moment, though yet to find a kill.
Same with Kendrew, same with Oscar. As of so far, 3 and 2. Yeah, I mean, as a team though, ITB certainly don't have that same flair, ferocity, and that power. Okay, 1 for 1. You take that if you FaZe, especially on a map like Skyscraper. Just try and get position, try and get entry points. So even if you lose one to game 1, you also gain position. Force Noah back through drag, and what a shot though on the Vidiking.
Yeah, really nice fadeaway. We know those cutoff positions are key for the attack on Skyscraper, and just being able to find one and fall back is so valuable in being able to bolster that rear defensive line, such as this position, right? Deployable shield, ADS device, clearing this will be a challenge for FaZe, especially now at a man disadvantage. ITB still with 3 smokes in the hands of Kendra as well. Just like that, in a split moment, things get increasingly more challenging for FaZe.
Yeah, FaZe love the slow pace though, and that's why Skyscraper is a map that they do very well on. Yeah, still a minute left, 60 seconds. That's plenty of time for FaZe. Work their way through it. Very smart team. They're a very logical team. Candela's here from Handy. 2 more after this available. Trying to clear out this drum's position, but I love the angle from Azza to help out Oscar, who was on somewhat of an island behind that shield. Still in a bit of a battle here, but again, it's the same outcome. They're trying to clear one play, but Azza knows full well that Oscar is in some trouble. He's the target. I'm going to help him out, and he does the team thing. 3 versus 1 in the round. ITB on the verge of evening up that scoreboard.
Yeah, really good teamwork there from ITB in soaking pressure, but then countering that themselves. Taking full advantage of the man advantage that they have. And so it's a successful round conversion off the back of Kenny calling that tactical timeout, and that just allows them to settle down a little bit.
It's the thinking there from ITB where it's just very simple. They have to swing Oscar. They can't take the fight through Drum until they clear him. So Azza knows full well, he's not the target. He's not going to get swung. He's not in the firing line. Wait for them to push into Drum, and then I'm going to swing. I'm going to help you out, Oscar. And even if Oscar dies there in any of those scenarios, you're getting the trade. And
all it needs to be is a 1-for-1 because you gained that advantage earlier on, right? There's no point overcomplicating it. And I think that's been one of ITB's strengths so far throughout this series. I guess oddly enough, probably the one round they overcomplicated with that defensive roam above. That's where it sort of fell apart. But in these sort of really core, key, fundamental moments, whether it be small mini games around the map or key positions, they look really, really strong and really formidable and really confident. And I think that, you know, Kenny taking that early tactical, allowing the guys to settle down and just refocus was really well timed, and they'll reap the benefits of that now for the rest of the half.
Yeah, and I think when you kind of look at sometimes this game and you look at just the raw numbers and the stats, it's very easy to get carried away and be like, oh, Creed's no, they were sensational in Chalet. And they were. Sometimes it's just your map. This time it's now Azza. Now he's in that position where he's the one getting these kills. You know, Oscar's 1 and 4, but he's still playing the team position by hiding behind that shield. He's not in a position where he's likely to get those kills, because if he peeks and he dies, he gives up spot, and you don't want to do that. 2 rounds to go in the half, 2-2 scoreline, a little bit more of a competitive match here, at least on Skyscraper. For those that missed the opening map, 7-1 to ITB, and it was 7 straight after losing that opening round, and they never looked like dropping any kind of round. FaZe have at least kind of brought things in a pretty balanced direction here on Skyscraper. Single wall getting opened up in towards VIP. Offers some exhibition here for ITB.
So we do see the Warden now in play, but FaZe elect not to double down on the Ying this time around, and so that impact may not be as felt. Although still flashes in the bank for the attack, and so Creed will want to get himself into this game. Still yet to post a kill. Mirror will once again see an appearance as well. Something that ITB feel comfortable playing around as the breaches get opened up.
Kendra, is his position known? No, not quite. I mean, the way that Soul swings, that's more for the long angle. I think they're more so the close. Really nicely done from Kendra. And I was actually just about to say, the way ITB are basically playing this round, rather default. It's a rather default kind of setup here. Hold your angles, deny positions like Dragon, deny positions like VIP, and obviously main breach.
Diffuser outside. Kenju did ping that out to the rest of the team and relayed that information, and so collecting it for FaZe is a challenge in itself. And ITB will be very eager to look to exploit that. Nitro gets stuck though. Kenju under pressure and falls to Cyber.
Yeah, I think Kendra there was on a bit of an island and somewhat dissimilar to the last round. No one was there to help him out. Oh, good angle found in Kendra from Azza, and he gets 2 in quick succession. Oh, here we go, more aggression from Azza, but maybe too much of it. Still, results going the way of ITB down to Vidaking, but he falls to Oscar. And ITB get another one here on the defense. 1 round to go in the half, and they retake the lead.
Diffuser dropped in a very awkward position. FaZe struggling to collect it. Kenju, I guess himself, also unlucky to not land that Nitro and then get caught out, but his job already done at that point in time after finding that entry kill. And so ITB just continued to look settled. Really now, I suppose, 1 round away from a very convincing 4-2 half. Skyscraper defense, that's on par. It is FaZe's pick, so the onus on them to perform well. As we look back at that 5th round, a lot of trades coming through, very fast paced.
What does it remind you of?
Become accustomed to it.
Very, very similar to that opening round we saw on T-Room Karaoke, and that played into ITB's favor as well. So you kind of think about the 3 round wins that they've had. 2 of them have come from that very aggressive, fast play, sort of gun trade battles going on. It's always going to favor defense on a map like Skyscraper. So final round of the half. ITB, you can say it, 1 round at a time mentality. 4 rounds to go isn't very many. to see if they can book their place into the playoffs and send FaZe home very early for a team of their stature.
So ITB are doing a very, very similar setup to last time, right? Leaning heavily into the Mirror Castle combination on top floor, forcing the clear from FaZe, and then playing Vert down below in towards the objective, so it's challenging for FaZe Clan to go direct. Last time, we saw ITB lose a 50-50 over towards Geisha on that top floor, and it unlocked so many other positions, and they pretty much got steamrolled in an instant, in a blink of an eye. So we'll see how both teams approach it this time around. Early pressure over towards Noah, who's eager to juggle the wall once more. Did find success last time, and in fact, the wall did not get opened up.
Disabling electronics.
We'll see how it goes this time around. Thatcher in response, but Noah should be able to hit this with relative ease, and does. So that's one exothermic eaten up.
You gotta move. Oh, okay. Frag grenade came in. Noah thought maybe for a split second it wasn't gonna be actually hitting him, but he was in the firing line. Had to move too late. That's a really good frag grenade. FaZe Clan get the opening kill, and a big one.
But this time, though, it's a little bit different. FaZe aren't able to quickly swarm up above and take all that pressure and make it difficult for ITB to play retake. The pacing now has slowed. Kendrick still has a good footing inside of Geisha, but is now on a bit of an island, and I'm sure FaZe will be able to exploit.
The timing there, Handy. I mean, Creed's the trade as well. No. Handy, beautifully done. The push into drum was clean. Huge advantage now for FaZe Clan, and certainly have looked the better of the two teams when we've had these more slower-paced, methodical rounds. Vitter King, huge kill onto Azza, and a 3-3 half now, looking all but assured as FaZe Clan continue to just manage this game of Skyscraper. 3 attacking rounds really should be more than enough. And they find said third round. They find a way through a bit of a tricky first half. But hey, 3-3 scoreline, it is evened up, but Skyscraper defense coming up for FaZe, I think they will be pretty comfortable.
Yeah, they showed some really good problem-solving skills again there on that top floor extension that ITB presented. Great frag grenade here from KDS to open things up.
That was a beautiful frag grenade we see from that angle.
Yeah, secured the kill, prevented the wall then from being tricked. Handy, in the meantime, was able to sort of sneak forward, dodged any potential goo mines that could have revealed his location, and was good for 2. Kendru up above, put up a final stand, but unfortunately wasn't enough then in the 1 versus 4. So clean work from FaZe.
It's like what you said, though, the problem solving. All of the rounds in which FaZe won, it came down to that kind of slow, methodical problem solving. Work your way through the round. Can we do this? If we do this, we can then do that. But the scrappy rounds, where it came down to just sheer gunplay on site, all of those went to ITB. Very reminiscent somewhat of Chalet. So the formula is there if you're ITB. If you're Keddy, you're kind of like, hey, can we kind of emulate those rounds and force that? Now we're going on to the attack. It's Skyscraper, right? Yes, you want to be slow, methodical, and I think FaZe certainly looked really good when they did that, but is there a way we can force their hand? Can we get into that scrappiness where we feel like maybe we're a little bit better?
Yeah, certainly easier said than done on a map like Skyscraper.
Well, an operator like Deimos might actually help facilitate that a little bit if you want to try and force it.
Yeah, Creeds may look to play more of a backline position here, probably sensing that this hasn't been his map so far, so if he can feed that information to somebody else that can be a little bit more in a playmaking position, that could reap dividends. They do also have the Grim as well to gain information, block out space, and then the Nomad, once they've captured it, to make it difficult for flanks or jump outs on that occasion, as we saw from Kendru. A little bit more challenging. But for me, it goes back to what you were saying, right? What kind of pacing do we see throughout this half from ITB? Did they reel it in a little bit more?
They shouldn't, though. But a Skyscraper is a map in which you somewhat just do it naturally.
Yeah. Very difficult map to break down.
Or to break it down fast, right? And to try and push through fast.
Cyber is on cam here. Or at least was. So ITB sensing somebody close by. But there's no real pressure applied on Cyber yet.
He's going to fall back soon, right? So you don't typically hold this extension too long on the horizontal roam across towards office side. Vidikin finds an opening kill onto as a big kill. Gets rid of that soft breach potential, and a player who's also been just performing individually very well for ITB. Great start for FaZe. There is that yellow pink information, like you said. Creeds has struggled. No kills so far here on Skyscraper after leading the kills on Chalet. Wow. Sums it up for Creeds. You had yellow pink intel. You know he's there. Cyber, though, just a bit better. And again, it's just FaZe starting to put the foot down, starting to feel that confidence flowing. And even with the information that ITB have had throughout that whole round, nothing they could do with it. Flawless from FaZe. And starting to feel like they might just be grabbing that momentum. You get this map, it's all evened up. Long way to go still, but FaZe are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, as I'm sure everybody who has played Siege knows, when it's not your map, it's just not your map. You can put everything in its correct position and it just doesn't click for whatever reason.
Great
you just
drone,
can't find that
good
puzzle
information,
piece.
and nothing to be done.
Yeah, it's going to be so frustrating for Creeds. Important that he doesn't drop his head though, because if there is a third map on the horizon, he needs to make sure that he's ready for that. On the side of FaZe though, great way to kick off the half. Dominant, flawless.
But it's the same thing that I've noticed throughout this entire map of Skyscraper, right? When it's slow, FaZe are winning these rounds, in this instance, flawlessly. But even in a lot of the other rounds, it might be like, you know, 4-0. Like, there's 4 up for FaZe. Like, ITB aren't getting kills in these rounds. The only rounds in which ITB have really gotten kills are those scrappy back and forth, comes down to a 1v1. So when you actually look at their KDs, right, 2-6, 0-7, 4-6, 3-5, they're all negative except for Azza because they're just not getting kills. These are not close rounds. FaZe have actually dominated in their round wins, but the scoreboard only says 4-3. That's the good news for ITB. But the bad news is, though, of course, FaZe on defense, and you can only be so quick and scrappy and fast on a map like Skyscraper. All signs are pointing to Bank.
Bank's a weird one, right? I feel like it's kind of a hybrid between the two, where, especially on attack, you really can get things going if you want to play that way.
I said it before, I think it's a genuine neutral territory map for these two teams.
Still, though, a lot of Siege to be played out here on Skyscraper, so don't count ITB out. They've certainly looked good this evening. Although, sensing FaZe here defensively on Skyscraper, historically they've been so strong. I mean, we only have to cast our minds back to SI where they made that comeback. They know what has to be done here for a really tidy defensive half on Skyscraper, and breaking that down, especially with both shields down as well, ITB's potential pocket pick. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, Logic Bomb utilized very early from Creeds just to help a bit of facilitation into Pantry on the entry. But again, as the second Logic Bomb comes out, the slow-paced playstyle for ITB doesn't seem to be very befitting for them. The good news is for Bank, you can actually manipulate the map a little bit better for that pacing and playstyle. You know, Creed's holding this angle up towards the Mez. Just waiting to see, can I get a little bit lucky? Is someone just going to walk in? But no, they're just not getting anything. All these little moments that happen throughout a series of Siege just aren't going the way for ITB. They're not getting anyone from FaZe wandering around, catching them off guard. Trying to hold this angle for the long portion, for example. Instead, it's Vidiking that gets the opening kill for Kendrick. What feels like yet another opening kill for FaZe Clan. And consistently and constantly with the numbers advantage. Frag grenade to clear out, stairs towards Restaurant. Vidiking will just hold it still. Glass is activated. And this time, though, it will be Deathmark to give away his position. Absolutely now known by Azza, but spots him on the stairs anyway. Nicely done onto Creeds. Azza pretty much using Creeds as a human shield. KDS with a kill onto Oscar, doubling down the advantage for FaZe.
I mean, they get that ground, but at what cost? At a very expensive trade for ITB, and they're not going to be able to recoup their losses here in round 8. FaZe shut it down, and ITB looking stalled out here on the Skyscraper attack.
Yeah, they look great. This is the FaZe that we know. I think this is a map that just really benefits and plays into their playstyle.
Yeah.
FaZe love the slow approach. You know, you think back to the SI Grand Final as well, and, you know, at the time, of course, W7M, now Furia, what worked well for them were the more fast-paced rounds. For FaZe, what worked well was the slow-paced rounds. And I think you can see the similarities here. No, I'm not comparing ITP to the world champions, but the pacing and the play styles are certainly what is at play in a series like this. And for ITP, like, look at this, I mean, the slow push-up Restaurant stairs. We saw nothing like that on Chalet. We saw nothing like that when they were winning these rounds. And it's why FaZe are just winning them so comfortably, because it's just playing into their hands.
Yeah, I think the telling thing for me is ITB in that last round, right? They're looking to quite desperately trade out that mainstay's position. They lose the first pick, and I cast my mind back to sort of Chalet. If we saw somebody die or a position, you know, lost or whatever, it's because they were making up for that elsewhere, maybe finding a trade or making a play elsewhere on the map or whatever the case may be. There, it's a 4 versus 5, and ITB are just kind of like stun locks.
Yeah.
Where are we going? What are we doing? What's next? And that's not reminiscent of map number 1, which, look, to be fair, it's best of 3. They don't have to win this map. This could just be written off. They may not have really had this as a high preference map at all. They don't care about Skyscraper all that much and put all their stock into bank. So that's the beauty of the BO3 format, and for FaZe, it's an opportunity to get themselves back into this series, of course.
Yeah, and there might be some viewers sort of unfamiliar. I know it's only a 5-3 scoreline, which is meant to indicate that it's close. All the general feeling right now, though, is that FaZe are pretty much going to put this one away. Defense, Skyscraper, very defender-sided. A map that just clearly is benefiting FaZe. It's going to take something very extraordinary for ITB from here. All the momentum, well and truly now against them. So they're going to have to pull off some really scrappy rounds, really force the issue. These next 2 rounds, absolutely critical for Into the Breach.
They have to get Creeds back into the match.
Yeah, and for good reason, because he was the one getting the opening kills back on Chalet. It was Noah who was getting a lot of kills in general, but Creeds was the opener for them on the Ash. Wants to be aggressive, wants to just kind of not maybe let the mental aspect of being 08 get to him, which I think is a really good mentality. He's not backing away, he's not shying away, he continues to just try and be the first one in. That's the role. Okay. That's a mini win for Kendra to get across, and he can set up one of the talent shields.
Well, you banned the Blitz and the Monty. What's next? Osa. They've got to bring a shield on the board to get some space up above, and I don't mind this.
This is good.
Can hold down the backstairs position, facilitate hard breaching towards side, so that's line of sight and pressure. And it now just poses the question to FaZe, do they want to aggress, do they want to retake? The Nitro cell from downtown will land. And with 70 seconds on the clock, ITB need to try and trade, need to try and find space. But nothing presenting itself at the moment.
I feel like that's just a little bit short-sightedness there from ITB to think, okay, well, he can't cross towards Blackstairs because I've got someone on the balcony, so he can't run to me. He can't get to me, but the Nitro Cell can go over the top. Really well placed from FaZe. 4 versus 3, 50 seconds left, and now ITB have lost a big part of their advantage as they're in towards this Blackstairs position. But they still haven't been cleared out Karaoke. KDS can actually look down below. Huge kill for Noah, who was holding this position outside on the Shrine balcony. That is exactly what I meant in terms of Kendra had someone watching. No one could run towards him. 3 versus 3 with 30 seconds left in this round, but still FaZe have got vertical position. They haven't been cleared up above. How are you going to get this plant down?
You can't cross for the plant. I know the position's secure, but getting towards that will be tough.
Oh my
the fight from above.
Changes things massively now, and that plant can be successful. And now with Side B going down, Nitrocell from Vinicking, it does get the kill into Azza, but he loses his life to Creeds anyway. And just like that, a spark of hope from Kenny and the crew for ITB. A 4th round has been found from seemingly nowhere for what feels like the momentum being all with FaZe. That was a huge round for ITB.
Yeah, Creed's back into the match. Great problem solving there and sharp shooting from ITB to unlock the latter stages of that round. I thought surely with the horizontal position, or the vertical position rather, down below towards that entry for the plant, it was FaZe's round really to lose, but wasn't to be.
Well, this was great. I loved that from KDS. Understood full well the mission there. One out the balcony, can't make the cross towards Blackstairs. I'll just throw the Nitro Cell over, and it landed perfectly. But ultimately, this just felt like a round in which ITB had a shot. It's disgusting. Oh my god. Holy moly. Wow. And even still, that denied the plant, by the way, that Nitro Cell, but Creeds then with the swing, and Creeds is on the board.
Yeah.
Creeds is on the board, the boys are popped up. Huge round. FaZe, though, still in a good position. Don't get it twisted. Up 5-4 on the defense of Skyscraper. I still feel like they've got that pole position, if you will, but creeping in behind them now, ITB, huge round. Just kind of stem the tide a little bit, because I felt like the wave was building bigger and bigger and bigger for FaZe.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, it has come crashing down a little bit there in round number 9. But as you've mentioned, it's important to recognize that it is Skyscraper defense, a very strong map for FaZe. They still have an advantage and only one away from, at minimum, pushing an overtime here for map 2 of the BO3. Jackal being brought here for Into the Breach. Could be quite the powerful tool in locating any roamers around the map. We do currently have souls down below in Barbecue on Vigil, as other attacking operators will get to work on the Geisha hard breach on the top floor. perhaps now rotating off for any potential lurk opportunities.
Yeah, FaZe don't have to change much up, being on defense, Skyscraper.
Reload.
So far, they haven't really shown, like, you know, pure aggression. I think they've got a very calculated roam game where they look to try and control space, deny entry positions. Over to kill onto Noah. Just gets caught wandering. Cyber again. I mean, this has been the common theme so far for FaZe in this map. Opening kill after opening kill. Somewhat similar and reminiscent of ITB on Chalet. So they lose Ace. They lose Heartbreach. And Creed's on the Jackal. Operator to help him facilitate forward in towards the map. 90 seconds left in the round. He's down to 14 HP. As a back outside, then back in towards Restaurant. In and out. The flash to go forward. Understanding full well. One above. Another one towards the other side of the room of Restaurant as well. And a good swing comes through from Souls, who gets two. Two for the good. And now 5 versus 2 for FaZe, who are going to find that map point round.
Could well be flawless. And in fact, ITB will likely take an impromptu tactical time out here unofficially. I'll sit outside for the next minute, chat things over. But FaZe doing a really good job responding to that push, providing support to Souls, who didn't overplay his hand. If Souls falls on the roam, then ITB will rotate elsewhere, attack site. And then those players who have come to support him may be out of position, but he did a good job to hold his ground, eventually finds two. The pressure from up above, difficult, if not impossible, for ITB to break down. And so too will the round. It will fall apart, and FaZe Clan will take this round. So a 6-4 lead on the other side of this 30-second intermission.
Just listen to that beautiful scenery. Flag waving in the background.
It is a pretty map.
It is a very beautiful map, very gorgeous map. But
Seconds remaining.
the kind of round that, again, for FaZe, I think really highlighting their ability to deny
10
entry.
seconds left.
Kendrew maybe just wanted to get it over and done with. Felt like they'd spoken about whatever they wanted to speak about. But without getting too aggressive. You don't need to vault out, you don't need to run out, you don't need to throw your life away to find these kills. Position yourself well, deny the entry positions, and that's exactly in that round what was the issue for ITB. They just couldn't enter the map. Anytime they tried to get in the map, FaZe were just better positioned. They were able to block them out really, really well. So they get to their 6th round. They get to that map point round. 2 rounds in a row required for ITB. Feels like in terms of the round wins as well, when ITB win a round, they win it like in this like super crunch, like 1v1, like super hype. Names are yelling. FaZe, they're just winning all these like 5v1s, 4v1s, and it's just like
Another
nothing
day
to
at the
scream
office.
about. It's just like, oh, okay, cool, FaZe have won. It's 5v1. What do you want? Kendry's like sitting outside for 30 seconds. 6-4. Realistically, FaZe should be winning this map. I think they deserve this map. They've been the better of the 2 teams. They've played it better, which is not really a surprise. Definitely anticipated, and I've pretty much been saying since the beginning of the series and then the kind of the pre-show that I felt like if ITB were going to win this, it was going to be Chalet and bank. They got the Chalet part down. I think we're now going to test them on the bank.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly doesn't take away from ITB's efforts and performance back on Chalet. It was phenomenal. They outplayed FaZe. FaZe didn't necessarily play map number 1 poorly. It was really ITB outclassing them, and I think the same can be said here on map number 2, where FaZe have found comfort, especially defensively, and ITB haven't been able to find or lean into necessarily the same strengths that we did see back on map number 1. And Bank is certainly calling, it's knocking on the door, and FaZe, sooner rather than later, are likely going to answer. Into round 11 we go. Amaru in play. And so maybe this is the one round where we finally see everything just thrown at the wall from ITB, and we'll see what sticks.
I want them to pick up the pace. I want them to pick up the pace. Even if it doesn't work, I mean, at the very least, at least try it, because they've won all of their rounds when it's been fast, it's been scrappy. It's not about that slow, methodical breakdown, problem solve. The FaZe Clan. Oh, well, okay, we'll take that one. I was just saying as well, and benefiting the fact that they weren't going for runouts in the last round, but they went for it in this round. Claymore got one, but didn't get the second onto KDS. 4 versus 4. But that's what ITB wants, although caught running around. Azza loses his life to Souls. Good positioning, gets the kill, advantage for FaZe.
Yeah, lurk game here from ITB hasn't been particularly effective, which can be costly. 4 versus 3. Creed's diffuser in hand on the Amaru. as these players now look to isolate fights. Up the hatch, Creeds considers.
I don't know if this is going to work.
I would hedge my bets that it probably will not.
KDS, Vidiking both close by.
He's waiting for a cue, is Creeds. Someone to support.
Here we go. Into makeup. Straight on up for Creeds and shot in the back by Vidiking. You can't look both ways. And guess what? There was a player both ways. It was never going to work out for Creeds, and that's getting a bad spot, and that's probably the map done here. And certainly with Kendrick falling, no one to follow as well. FaZe Clan, far too good on Skyscraper. They're not going to go silently out of this tournament. Not this soon, not this early. Bank is absolutely up on for the cards here. 1-1 in this series.
Yeah, a clean return to form for FaZe, and Bank now next on the menu. For ITB, I'm sure they can still be rather happy with some of the rounds in which they played out. A lot of the 50-50s, especially late round, were good from them. But unfortunately for them, FaZe just outclassing in other aspects of the game.
Yeah, one attack round, a couple of defensive rounds, you know, it was competitive. Ultimately, though, the map and the flow of the map far and away just situates better for FaZe Clan, and it certainly played like that. And there was the expectation too. Even after Chalet, even after that 7-1, it still felt like, okay, I'm still going to back in FaZe on Skyscraper.
Yeah, I think that's a very reasonable way to approach the series. FaZe went in as favorites on map number 2.
All right, let's go back over to the studio and get their thoughts as we're going to be heading into Bank soon.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the studio, and we do indeed have thoughts about that one, because as much as that first map was one-sided and we saw Creeds pop off, this map was look, I took my heels off and put my shoes on because I knew we were going to be here for a while. That's all I'm saying.
Smart. I mean, that first map was very dominant. This one a lot closer. I think that's what we kind of expected or wanted to see as well. I mean, both teams, as we talked about, this, well, map and FaZe being really much favoring towards one of the teams. And then on Bank, it's going to go down, but we'll get to that later. For this map, it was really good to see some of the FaZe players finally coming alive. I mean, we talked about Cyber, for example, on that very first map. So far on this tournament as well, having some struggles with the starts of these series. But this time around, it was a lot better from him. We saw some good attacking from FaZe as well, but mostly also good defending from them.
Yeah, I mean, straight away on map 2, we saw such a difference in Cyber, didn't we? He was popping off immediately. I think he got 2K in the very first round, sort of nearly equaled his kills from the previous map. So he popped up, did really well. I'm so kind of upset in a way with ITB is that we didn't see the same level of their attacking in map 2. Like, it's the one big thing that I'll keep on hammering on. I'll keep on hammering on, because I promise you it's the one thing that stops these guys from being like a superstar team. Genuinely, they really can. We've seen it with a few of their clear attacks here on Sky. I know Sky's a difficult map to attack, 100%. I get it, but you're getting flawless nearly every clear you do, and we saw it yesterday again as well against Furia on Border, and that is not a defender map.
So when we're looking at this map particularly, you said already heading into the mapping that you had a couple of worries and issues coming into Sky, but it felt like those were only further emphasized going up against a team like FaZe. And FaZe, I felt like that first map, like as you mentioned, it didn't happen. Let's just start from scratch.
Yeah, and it felt like that. Like I said, Cyber came into it immediately. He's popping kills off immediately. They're playing fast. 3 attacks on Skyscraper as well from FaZe is quite nice. It could have been a 4th if they believe they had a 1v1, didn't they? Which has just managed to clutch up on one of the T defends. So FaZe definitely rubbed it off. And I mean, that's so expected as well. A team of that experience, a team of that caliber. I mean, 100% it was going to happen in that way. Either way, regardless of how this series went, obviously I want ITB to win, EU bias, UK bias, whatever you want to call it. FaZe shouldn't be going out 2-0 with a 7-1 in there as well. I don't want to see that.
No, definitely not. And I think, of course, what we need to talk about for FaZe as well, even though there were some mistakes being made by the side of Into the Breach, but FaZe was really punishing them for these mistakes as well. We're talking about the attacks on the side of Into the Breach, not really working out with all that full clearing. I don't know exactly what round it was, but there was one attacking round for the side of Into the Breach where they had this drone in office the entire time, spotting out Cyber for about a minute and a half. There are players all around that area, and they weren't able to do anything with it. They have all the building bricks to deal with that player, to get the entry, to get that map control, but then Cyber gets away with 2 kills, and you're left
the first 2
without
kills.
anything. Yeah,
as well. I think that's also something really to highlight here when it comes to ITB, because when we saw that first map performance, like Creeds was popping off. Like the guy was like 10-0. This time around, 0-8.
Yeah, I believe he started 0-8, right? And then got the 2K for a nice winning round. Their only attacking round. Only got his 2K and they did it. I think that does kind of paint a picture, though. They really struggled to entry as well, just generally. I think one of their only entry kills was a Claymore kill. in which Oscar also got traded out anyway, so it's kind of you didn't really gain a whole lot. It's sad for me, but also I'm happy this is map free because this is a game that deserves a map free. So
absolutely.
Either way, we're getting some good Siege.
Yeah, because coming out after the first desk that we did, you asked me, do you want like a 2-0? Do you want some, like, what do you want to see? And I was like, I want to see, as long as it's good Siege, as long as it's like an 8-7, I would love that. And then we got a 7-1. I'm like, okay, this is not necessarily what we bargained for, but we'll still take it. And I feel like this time around the competition have been stepped up, and then we're going to be heading on to Bank. And this is where it's basically scratched from both of these teams, because you need to win this or you're going home, and your key is just...
Yeah, this map is really important for both these two teams. As you mentioned, you're either moving in towards that playoffs bracket or you're going home, falling short at the final hurdle. But yes, it is all from scratch, but I think with the history between these two teams, having seen some stats on these two teams, it is leaning towards the favor of FaZe. Historically speaking, this map is very good for them. Been flawless on it since March. They've taken down teams like Furia, for example, our reigning world champions from SI. So that's a good result coming from them there. But then if you look on the side of Into the Breach, they've only won 2 out of the 6 teams that they played on this map, also having lost against their own academy team. So there definitely is something that they have to work on. They lost it right here at Esports World Cup as well against Wolves. So what I hope from the side of Into the Breach is that they learn from that and they can take that information going up against FaZe.
It's as you say, they lost it against Wolves in what the qualifiers, right? The closed or the open qualifiers, whatever it is for EWC. And equally, it's a map that's so good for FaZe. They've always been known as a bank team for a long time. It's a map that we played against them 2 years back in a major final, right? Like these guys are a really strong team. They love this map. It's going to be hard, but like you say, you made such a point of it pre-even getting to this situation that the maps are going to play a massive part today. And we've seen that already. A blowout on map 1, sort of a blowout on map 2. Yeah.
And it also brings the question, when you're looking at FaZe particularly, they have different organizations in different games, and you have to be top 8 to be able to qualify for the club championship points. So them going out here would be a massive hit to the organization and the performance so far. So we have one more map to go between ITB and FaZe Clan in this best of 3. Make sure you guys stick around. We're going to be back after the break, so don't go anywhere.
New adventures bring new challenges. Even as the heat rises, dandruff and grease won't stand a chance. With new Clear Men, powered by triple formula technology. To eliminate dandruff, itch, and grease, gives you 8 hours of freshness and 100% dandruff-free hair. New Clear Men, 0% dandruff, 100% confidence.
لحظات البداية عاشت معنا. كنا نحسبها وقت للتسلية بس. نحسبها بس ذكريات.
عبود أعطي أختك اليد يا ولد.
ابتكرنا فيها ابتكارات، وإذا بغينا قلبناها خرافات. كنا نحسبها بس لمة وصحبة وسهرات.
انتبه نوب ترى نوب.
لكن كنا نشوف عالم ما حد يشوفه.
لا يشغل وقته بشيء يفيده.
الله عليك على اليد.
عالم كبر وعاش فينا. عالم الحماس فيه يوصلك كل مرة لحلم أصعب، بس ما يصعب عليك. بارد معك وين ما تروح.
Four weeks of Esports World Cup action have gone by, and what a month we've had. The last week saw the conclusion of 3 tournaments: PUBG Mobile, Overwatch 2, and the MLBB Women's Invitational. And with that, we're back again with yet another update to the Club Championship. With a whopping $20 million on the line here at Riyadh, teams will have to shift into top gear as we approach the halfway mark. Let's dive in to see how the table moved with last week's scores added to the tally. Falcons extended their massive lead at the top by another 550 points thanks to 2 top 4 finishes in the week. This takes their tally to a massive 3,500 points, showing just how dominating they've been at the Esports World Cup. While their PUBG Mobile team was a shocking early exit from the competition, the team was able to pick up points at the MLBB Women Invitational and Overwatch 2. Despite not fielding any teams in the 4th week of the competition, Team Liquid and Natas Vincia hold on to their 2nd and 3rd spots respectively. Both teams will have chances in the coming week, however, with rosters in Rainbow Six Siege and Apex Legends. Gaming Gladiators were unable to add to their points this past week, but maintained their 4th spot thanks to their win at Riyadh Masters earlier. They were in contention in the Overwatch 2 segment, but an early exit in round 1 of the playoffs leaves them pointless in week 4. The 5th position is where we see the competition really heat up, with 5 teams tied at 1,000 points each. Alpha 7, Crazy Raccoon, and Omega Esports are the 3 new entrants in the spot, having won the PUBG Mobile World Cup, Overwatch 2, and MLBB Women's Invitational respectively. T1 and Selangor Red Giants maintain their position thanks to wins in League of Legends and the MLBB Mid-Season Cup in the past weeks. Crazy Raccoon will be in contention at the Apex Legends tournament in week 5, but are out of the running for the top spot. T1 are the only team from this list who have a shot theoretically, but they must wait out until week 5 where they won't be part of the competitions. With 13 more titles left to be played out, a lot of teams can still catch up to Falcons at the top. Week 5 will see competitions in Apex Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, and Honor of Kings. Keep tuning in and follow the biggest esports competition ever here at the Esports World Cup.
Well, shaky to say the least on Chalet, but FaZe have responded in the best way possible. Very clean and clinical Skyscraper to set us up for this best of 3 to go the distance. Bank is awaiting us for the 3rd map here of this series, for what will be the final series of today's action. And we get to go down to the wire, guys.
Is it coming home for the UK lads? That is the big question mark, or can FaZe double down here after a very convincing victory back on Skyscraper? A lot of questions and hopefully some answers to follow. Bank is an intriguing map because I feel like in some respects it's a bit of a hybrid of the last 2 we've had, where pacing can be slow. That's a very valid way, and play for structured plants, etc. on the side of the attack on Bank. Or you can sort of throw chaos into the mix, go for picks, go for back hits, etc. And so I think both teams are going to be really testing the waters of both approaches over the course of this third and final map.
If we could re-poll the initial poll for this matchup, which was 80% to FaZe, 20% to ITB, where would it sit now in your eyes?
Ooh. 65-35 for
Best of
FaZe.
one.
65-35. I think that's fair.
I agree with that. I would never disagree with you on a broadcast. Never happened before.
That's a lie.
I do agree, though. I think FaZe, the team with the experience, they're a veteran team. They've been in these situations before, and it's not often that we would see FaZe not make it to the playoffs. They got a bit of a streak over the last couple of years. So evidently, yeah, I'm going to back them in. I thought their Skyscraper looked good. I think they were able to get their game going. They couldn't on Chalet. Chalet just as a map was certainly not the kind of map in which they could really get the best versions of themselves. They essentially went into the web of ITB. They got kind of put into that trap. 7-1, though, as a scoreline was not great. And I thought that maybe because of that 7-1 scoreline, I had more hope for ITB on Skyscraper. And to be fair, 7-4 was not a bad scoreline. They weren't awful on Skyscraper, but FaZe were just always better. Now into Bank, yeah, I would probably say FaZe still favorites, but certainly not that 80-20 kind of favoritism tag that was put on them coming into this series. ITB is going to have every chance on Bank. From my understanding, they will be also defending first. FaZe will be attacking first. So for FaZe, as a team, we know defend a little bit better than they attacked. It's going to be interesting in this first half. Can ITB, maybe on the defensive bank, just get some good rounds on the board?
Yeah, and I guess for context, important to remember that really any level of performance from ITB is very respectable in this matchup, right? Like FaZe, second at SI, pushed W7M, arguably the best team of all time, to
2 semi-finals before that at the majors.
Yeah, to a 5th and final map. And yeah, I mean, top 4 Atlanta, even Copenhagen as well, top 4. Like, they are a very solid team, consistently overseas. And that's why, in some respects, it's strange to see them in this position.
At Manchester, lost to the eventual winners of the East Coast, who went on a run. So, yeah, I mean, that's my kind of thought process here. It would be quite devastating if FaZe don't make playoffs, and it would be one of the low blows, one of the low points for a roster that has been so high in recent times. But on the flip side for ITB, this would be their high point. To make the playoffs here, to knock out FaZe.
Yeah, that really put the Jets on, I feel, right? Like, sky's the limit. You take down FaZe, Who's next to take you down? Maybe like a BDS, right? But yeah, that would be big.
So, final head taps, final fist bumps, and whatever those hand fist little grabs. I saw Fabian doing them the other day as well. It's like the little closed fist, little touch. Why not just fist to fist? Come on, keep it simple, boys. Into Bank we go. FaZe attacking first. ITB on the defense into the ban phase. We saw the shield operators banned out on Skyscraper. I don't know if we're quite going to see the same here on Banking. Taken off the board by into the breach. FaZe with a very quick lock-in
Monty
for their attacking ban, and it will be Monty, the most banned operator at the event.
Yeah, the shields are good these days.
Is it time to just take the shield away from Monte? Joke. Obviously, I hope that's good.
When he just walks around, just key poses around the map.
How would you even nerf Montang?
Yeah, just take away the shield. I don't know.
Walk around with a pistol. All right, into Bank. And I think for both of us here, we're probably thinking FaZe take this, but by no means are we counting out into the breach. They've certainly got every chance. The good news for them as well, you know, like mentally, you're into this third map. It's best of one. You're not at the start of the series for what feels like a little while ago now. You've already got one map on the board, 7-1, demolish them on Chalet. You should have that feel-good factor that you can beat this team. You've already done it in this series. Skyscraper, competitive, but they were just a bit better. Better map for them. Hit a Bank we go. I do wonder what Kenny has maybe said to the boys as well coming into a game like this. It's like, are you just trying to hype them up? Are you just trying to go in towards the more mental side or the strategy focus? Because they actually brought out some pretty good strategy on Skyscraper. FaZe dealt with it, but I did like what I saw from ITB.
Let's jump into things then, and it was Kaid and Mira to round off the defensive bans, both of which are rather common here on Bank. You think about Mira top floor quite strong, especially for an extension, or even the site itself, and Kaid on basement, with there being so many hatches, is also a bit of a menace to deal with, and nobody really wants to attack into that, and so FaZe will take that off for them. On the attack, and so we'll see how that plays out. But it looks like there will be an extensive roam in play from ITB, headed by Kreese, who's been a big talking point throughout this series for all the right reasons back on Chalet. Skyscraper, not so much the case.
I don't know if it's going to be an extensive run, and we see this sometimes around open where you play the castle barricades, try and just kind of keep open and staff under your control for as long as possible, then maybe you drop down admin. So you really kind of just deny entries through beeper. Try and keep a little bit of maybe main stairs as well, where the fact that they can't just kind of slip down easily.
Nah, this is extensive. I mean, like full keeper investment,
castle.
castle.
Yeah, I mean, Creed's in stock, but even still, we've seen this before. We hold the stock position, then you drop stock, then you drop admin, so you can get back to basement really quickly.
You got to get back though, and you have to balance that between wasting time and soaking utility.
Look how quick it got cleared.
Yeah. And with that double castle barricade over towards the window position.
But it's vertical layer defense, right? And that's what Bank can be like, especially on Locker CCTV. You don't just have to hold the basement itself and play the util game. I do like this from ITB because it is probably better benefiting their playstyle. They want to be aggressive. They want to take these entry fights and these duels. They want this to be an aggressive map because that's what Chalet was like. That's where they were successful. So you need to try and emulate that. Little double stack at the admin hatch. It's all about now just delaying this round, not through util, but from clear. You want FaZe to have to clear this and really take the time.
Oh, that was almost awkward there. But Cyber unable to catch that defender who will fall back. So halfway point of the round, we now sort of take stock. FaZe don't have to waste time opening hatches, pre-open for the rotations, and so that's probably a win for them. They didn't expend a ton of utility to get that ground, nor trade out HP. That said, ITB themselves have plenty of util in the pockets. You think about the Goyo canisters from Kendrew, 3 smoke babes available for Oscar as well. And so default plant now, not really, probably going to be an option. So for FaZe, it's likely going to be a hatch drop. That's rather typical though on Bank these days.
They're going for default plant. They've dealt with the Goyo canisters, but 50 seconds still. And you got gas babes as well. 3 gas babes from Oscar is more than enough here.
Yeah.
There are 2 options. You can either try and go for the very close in plant, or you run to the bomb chassis.
Or you go deep, go red wall. Default is not going to be an option.
40 seconds here over towards Beepers. KDS has got some pressure towards main. There's 2 players there for ITB. Going for the plant right now is Souls. Where's the denial? In fact, no. There's no smoke. This is going to be a free plant. This is an absolute... Oh, no, never mind. Denied in the last second. A couple of kills from ITB. In towards Garage right now for Vidiking. A strange old round of Bank. It was looking a little bit default. You lost the smoke. The plant should have been successful, but Souls got denied. This is an awkward battle for Vidiking on 1 HP in Garage. So difficult to push forward now. Into CCTV for Handy to push through. Big kill onto Noah. Has to stick to plant. 6 seconds. Maybe thought someone was blue, but the hatch towards square. 2 seconds. They should be able to deny this one, and ITB will open things up on Bank.
Well, they couldn't play default, but it wasn't for the reasons that we expected. A square flank to come through there from the defense? You don't see that every day of the week, and I'm hoping that the replay package will give us some insight as to how that was actually formulated by ITB. Decimated FaZe. We saw the kill feed light up, 3 going the way of the defensive unit. So let's have a look back. So that's Cyber catching Oscar. That's trying to catch those smoke babes. There was action then main stairs, but in the meantime, Kendrew was able to hit that flank. That was massive. Noah pushed through. So there was the drop down.
Kendrew didn't even affect the plant though.
Yeah, which initially I thought he might have, but yeah, it was just a straight push through sight. So I suppose FaZe's structure there for the plant denial, or the plant coverage rather, really had some massive holes in it, and ITB exploited it.
Yeah, that was strange. That's the formula for ITB.
That's like an ITB round in a nutshell, right?
So 1-0. That's what ITB needs. Those scrappy fights for FaZe Clan. I don't think they did a whole lot wrong. Cleared out what they needed to. They actually cleared out stock very quickly.
5 seconds to go.
But they dealt with open area rather swiftly. Didn't really lose the battle towards main stairs either. Everything default towards the square and server side as well was largely fine. Vulcan canisters got blown up in time. It was really going to only be the smoke of Oscar that was going to delay them, and he died. So you think about all of those things that went well for FaZe, yet still lost their round.
So into round 2 we go then, and with the Fenrir escaping ban phase, Azza will be able to employ that here in round number 2, and those F-Not mines are still quite powerful post rework or adjustment, and we're likely going to see those layered, on entry and then a couple on site, making sure those credits are juggled accordingly. FaZe have the tools to deal with those pieces of utility equally as well. IQ can help spot those out.
These are the rounds though for FaZe, right, where it's a little bit more systematic for ITB. The stock hold in towards Janitor, right? It's just all about, okay, we need to clear these positions, go through this checklist. That's what FaZe do really well. So ITB need to be very assured of themselves. Creed, for example, in stock, no one's going to trade him if he dies here. So he needs to be very, very careful. How much of this does he want to hold, for how long? You can clearly see he's also got a bit of a focus towards the Janitor. Oh, wait, what is that angle from Souls? There is no trade. That's a position now given over for FaZe. No one does win his battle, but eventually traded. Numbers with FaZe, now 4v3. Entry for KDS is secured as well with the kit coming through CEO in towards top square. 90 seconds left into the round, and again, that checklist motion for FaZe is really good.
Yeah, top floor unlocked, and KDS eventually, if he wants, can get to work on the skeleton key, flush out archives, force defenders back towards site. Oh, Azza is still up above. Okay. KDS goes for the vert. Azza will catch him if he hasn't been droned. This is a pivotal moment in the round, and he gets one.
Kill. He will know full well there's more to come. He can't quite make the vault over, though, in time. Souls from top main. There was another one towards Spiral as well, making his way up. Is Oscar. Swing, the timing, not quite with him. Knows he's in elevated, though. Has him pinched and trapped. The jiggle right now, though, is so incredible from Souls. Oscar does get the kill. And Kendra on site. He's got them both, and site is locked down for ITB. FaZe crumble, despite a great start in that round. Clearing top 4. But they can't get site. 2-0 start for ITB.
Yeah, good initial clear up above, but Azza unchecked, able to take one with him to the grave. And then Kendra on site locked it down.
Oh, just a top knot of the Azami. And again, the clear here was from FaZe was good. Set it from the start. Clearing stock, clearing Janitor, those are the positions that FaZe typically do well in clearing and taking. But it was a double stack here on this other side of the map. And Kendra, well, at that point, they basically just rushed into him. And you know what? For good reason, because it was a 2v1 on site. They actually had the numbers on site full well because they knew Oscar got the kill towards Spiral. So at that point, they know it's a 2v1 on site, but he's playing behind the bomb chassis really well there. So nicely done from Kendra. Defensive anchor on site seals the deal, because if it actually dies there, that's going to be really hard for Oscar to win that. If Kendra dies, they lose that round.
Yeah, it would have been a 1v2 retake, so yeah. Well played by Kendra.
5 seconds to go.
Top floor we go, and it's a site that can typically make or break your performance here.
It's a swing site.
It's a difficult site to defend at times. See what ITB throw into the mix. Rook on the board.
I wonder if how extensive this stock hold's going to be right now for ITB, because it hasn't been good so far. First 2 rounds has been cleared both rounds really easily. Also, I wonder for FaZe, do they play the repel game? I don't even really think they need to. I think they can get pretty good terrace into square, into towards clearing Janitor hallway. They can go for that more conventional in-map take rather than playing the repel. Claymores have been set though. KDS outside there at the moment.
Good sneak in from Cyber and can relay information. Capcan traps are on the board, and top floor control now to follow, or top square rather.
Such an aggressive hold right now from Cyber if anyone swings out Janitor hallway. See a little bit of pressure now as well with the Roteros in towards stock, so they're going to slowly clear this out. Bit of help as well from Handy, can open up this sight line, so pretty default attack right now from FaZe. Nothing too crazy. ITB really just need to hold angles. Now getting pressured. Nitrocell thrown over. Doesn't quite reach the mark. Kendra's actually down and Azza's low. In fact, has been brought back up. Hiding behind this one soul keeper barrier. They get away. Logic Bomb has been utilized right now by Vida King. Still on the repel for FaZe. They have been able to clear out stock, but they didn't get any kills for it.
I mean, pretty remarkable they were able to escape. It's good pressure on that position. ITB doubled down and tried to aggress back forward off the back of the keeper barrier. Got caught. It was denied, but then able to fall back and at least retain their life, which is so important on defense.
Final Logic Bomb.
Flashes to follow.
The peek over surely. Yeah, beautifully done from Noah. Knew full well that Vida King was dumping. The push in though, successful. KDS and Souls, one apiece here. And in KDS to double down as well, in towards Executive, one in towards Long Desk. Bulletproof camera doesn't matter though. All the kills for FaZe Clan, certainly far more successful push into sight. Round not quite over, now it is. FaZe will take it here in the third round.
Well, we prefaced it before the round. It could well be the objective that makes or breaks either team's hope of progressing further in this tournament. Top floor can flip either way. That time around though, FaZe off the back of good early pressure over towards Stock. Although not finding a kill, we're then able to expose weaknesses elsewhere, capitalize with good site control, catching players from ITB off guard as they looked to retake, especially over towards that front desk position. So as we stand at the end of that first rotation, it is ITB still in the lead 2-1. Looking back at that third round, KDS able to just demolish.
Yeah,
gets the first, gets the second, rolls it into more.
The good thing for FaZe in this round is the way in which they won it. Sure, the elements of, you know, dealing with Stock, dealing with Janitor, you know, playing into the IQ and getting all this information, the FaZe way in which they play Siege, but then just the pushing into sight. Literally just walking in KDS, able to get a couple of kills. Those are the kind of battles that ITB like. They want that scrappiness on site where it's like, let's just take the front-on-front contact. And yeah, FaZe kind of beat ITB at their own game there. And towards basement we go here for the fourth round. 2-1 lead for ITB, but FaZe showing good signs here on Bank. Both teams showing good signs on Bank. ITB going to change up their hold, though. I don't think they're going to be going for that open hold. No Castle brought for the round. Instead playing into a Mozzie, Capcan, Lucy, and Fenrir, which I have kind of theorized, and I've spoken to yourself, spoken to Pengu about it. Would you run both?
Oh, yeah.
And Pengu actually gave the correct answer, which is site dependent. This is probably one of the sites, if you're going to play some kind of roam game, you can get so much information and controlling of space around the map with both the Banshees and the F-Not Mines.
Yeah, really good anti-lurk tool. You add the Capcan into the mix, it's essentially a triple down.
This is going to be an intriguing clear for FaZe.
Yeah. I don't have the IQ to support it. Twitch may be helpful, but they need to proceed with caution. And on basement, time is often your biggest enemy.
Yeah, you still got the smoke as well as the sort of late round util that's looking to deny the more default plan.
We saw it last time with time becoming an issue. There were holes in the attacking structure of FaZe, and ITB exploited that with really good repositions and flanks.
Double bulletproof camera as well from both the Malusi and the Fenrir. So doubling down really on the one notion here for ITB, which is to delay as long as possible with these traps. Force these clears to be awkward and long for FaZe. And towards Garage at the moment for Handy on the Twitch. Still second floor clear for FaZe. Haven't actually really cleared out this first floor. In fact, in the archives right now is Azza, something to keep in mind. In fact, there's a couple of players still on this first floor hold for ITB. Nitrocell from Creeds. There is those first floor players playing very aggressive right now on the roam for ITB. Not looking to just fall back.
So minute 15 then. Where to for FaZe from here? I stumble over my words, but FaZe don't in claiming momentum back in the round, 4v4. A minute to go. Elevator seems to be a concern here for FaZe.
Kendrick could just drop, and they've got Oscar inside a vault, so he's quite secure. Need to keep him alive for as long as possible. Handy's position is known in towards Garage. Haven't really seen FaZe sort of highlight there's going to be a rather default plan. 40 seconds left in the round. I think they might go a little bit more direct and just see, can they clear out these players? Where are they at though? Vault side, which does kind of then mean you're giving up for that default. But that's exactly what ITB want.
I mean, Creeds is off site for the flank potential. We saw it there on the pip.
Souls towards square with the kit. There's the swing though. KDS losing his life to Creeds, who never wanted to give away that first floor position. Back in towards Archives, in towards server for Soul. So he does want to go for default. Smoke still up, one gas babe. Good kill, double kill for Kendrew. Creeds to then finish it off. Well, throughout that round, it did kind of feel like FaZe was managing the obstacles, but the final hurdle, too good for ITB.
Yeah, I'd love to put myself in the minds of the FaZe hive mind, I suppose, late round there. What was the end goal? What ground are you trying to take? Where's the plan opportunity going to come from?
Just wanted to kill everyone.
I think default was the last thing on their minds. Finding those kills and those opportunities, a challenge. Creeds again unmarked on the roam. Very reminiscent in some respects to the first attempt on that site, where a flank was their demise. And again, just highlighting some of the weaknesses of the FaZe attack at the moment, beautifully exploited by ITB and the compositions that they're bringing.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at the positioning here. One open, one garage, and then one in CCTV. So the positioning here for FaZe is really all around the map, which means then for someone like Souls at the end, he can't just stick that plan. You've still got to deal with gas babes. You're also by yourself, so no one's necessarily covering you. And then there's the late flank, because yes, we saw that kill in towards Archives from Creeds. He can then actually flank in towards the square side and just knife from the back anyway. So really, really well played from ITB all the way through. Loved the setup. I don't know necessarily if that was the sole catalyst for winning that round. 3-1 lead. I tell you what, I think 3 defensive rounds on Bank is kind of job done right now for ITB. 2 very crucial rounds now for FaZe coming up. They need to just try and get some momentum, because right now ITB looking the better of the 2 teams on Bank.
ITB have thrown a lot of interesting ideas into the match so far this evening, and Thorn, another idea thrown into the mix to lock down open area. We saw there some of those razor blooms peppered over towards open area to make that entry a little bit more precarious for FaZe.
I don't want to give all the credit to Kenny, because I'm sure it's always a team aspect, but I feel like their strat book has looked really, really good in this series. So credit to ITB and the whole crew. FaZe have got to find a way to navigate these very tricky final 2 rounds of the half. They're going to need at least a second attacking round at minimum here. So the pressure's going to start to really feel for FaZe. If they can't get this round, this 5th round, 1-4, you're staring down the barrel, potentially, of elimination from this tournament. This is lower bracket. This is a map in which if you lose, you are done. Here at the EWC. And for the winner, straight into the playoffs. Good opening kill for Creeds. He's starting to find that mojo, that what we saw from him on Chalet. The Skyscraper didn't work out, but here on Bank, finding the groove again. 6-2, getting the opening kills, and I'm starting to find more of the semblance of Chalet than I am from Skyscraper. Good trade though from Handy. A little delayed, but he gets it in the end. 90 seconds left, 4v4. Another big battle at EMR. Good on those long-range fights, but he is stuck in elevator. The flash to maybe get himself outside, but with a good kill elsewhere on to Azza. He is low, though, in open on 5 HP. Logic Bomb called. Huge round here.
Cyber is in open area, but low on HP. Handy elsewhere. Oh,
Handy.
My word. It's a triple on the round. And surely that will confirm it, unless Kendra can lock down Staff. Has some key barriers to play around and lands a nice shot. Minute to go.
Bidikin with the kit inside of open. In fact, they both are now. Bidikin does get his opening kill. He didn't quite see him. Big round for FaZe. Huge low from Handy. Finds 3 in the round. FaZe, well, that's the kind of round that can help them get their mojo back. A second round found here on the attack of Bank. 1 round to go in this half. 2-3 scoreline in favor of ITB. But that certainly felt like the FaZe that we know.
Okay, very heavily contested round off the objective, with Creeds finding that opening kill, then Handy with the lurk. Good for 1 in return. Cyber very low on HP, played for his own life and made an executive decision to hit site. Did a good job to apply pressure, and Handy as well was able to clean up any flank attempts. Sort of plugging some of the holes that we've seen on other attacks from FaZe. So good work from him and the rest of the team. And it sets up a very, very, very important final round of this half.
It's a repeat round as well. Back to Staff and open area. Say ITB, they do not want to go above towards CEO and executive. So we head back in towards this first floor bomb site. I don't know what Kenny's writing down there. Taking notes, and we maybe should do this differently on that site. Either way, they will repeat, and we will see what they do differently on this very site to close out this half. Can FaZe Clan make it 3-3? They certainly would like to. 2 attacking rounds might not be enough. If ITB can find a 4th defensive round, Bank, you think back to Chalet, their attack was so good. Bank can certainly help facilitate those attacking rounds at times. And it's trap heavy again. This time though, instead of the Melusi, it's the Thorns, a little bit more aggression with the Razor Bloom shells, coupled with the Fenrir, if not mines. But you do have the Twitch. Twitch can be really good here in this round.
Jump out.
And the IQ. And the jump out maybe from Creeds. Oh, it's not successful at all. Somehow from the lower position, Vidiking actually finds the head of Creeds, who gets really aggressive. We haven't seen that from ITB on the defensive bank. But for the first time we do see it, it doesn't go their way. Opening kill for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, I can understand the theory behind that, right? We haven't done it so far. May as well throw it out. Final round of the half, an unexpected jump out, or potentially unexpected.
Another lurk garage has been common from FaZe.
Yeah, trying to give his team the edge with instead of get util, but it doesn't work out. And so now ITB fighting from behind, 4v5. Top floor next on the agenda for the attack. And Vidiking finds yet another.
Oh, how do you survive that? Well, you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't. Yeah, well, round over. I'll talk about a swift way to close the half. This is actually a little bit more like Skyscraper. We've seen elements. I know you kind of used Bang as this sort of cross-hybrid between the first two maps that we saw, but it is playing out that way. A 1v5 potential for Azur, and he does get one to begin. 4 more required. Plant going down now from Vidiking in towards Stock. Good drop. Maybe look to deny nothing close. And in fact, he opens up the floorboard with the Bailiff. Not going to find that kill. Metal Beam in the way, and now it's a 1v4 retake. But yeah, the kind of round in which FaZe just were far more clinical. Like, I think in a nutshell for this series, ITB, when they win the rounds, they are very close rounds. When FaZe win it, it's like, the round is just done. It's like a 5v1. And it's like, oh, okay, well, the round's over. And that has been the common theme throughout this series, and that's kind of the issue now for ITB. Going into the second half, FaZe on defense can probably control that nature a little bit better than even on the attack. 3-3 half. FaZe are just navigating this little awkward series, and yeah, I don't know about that jump out. When it works, it's great. When it doesn't, you look a little bit silly.
Yeah, and then force the hand of other defenders to go for rotations. It was, in fact, Vidiking square Skylight for 2. Yeah, that's frustrating for ITB.
That's a bit of a nothing round, isn't it, right?
Yeah,
that's the kind of round you wish you could repeat.
They'll look back at that in the VOD and be like, yeah, that was not ideal. That was a bit of a freebie. But they can't be thinking about that now. Into round 7 we go. Roles switch, ITB on attack. And I have every belief that bank attack for them could be quite strong.
I know this is...
Which is crazy to say.
I think both teams can win it from here for two very different reasons. This is a great way to close out today's action. 1-1 in this best of 3. Down to a best of 1 now. 3v3 on the scoreboard.
5 seconds left before...
Yeah, I don't know who's going to win it from here. I could see FaZe with a bit of a stranglehold defense and their experience really shining through for ITB. Maybe elements of Chalet and their attacking prowess could certainly get them over the line here. So the blitz in play. Kendra on said shield operator. They also bring Striker too. Some frag grenades, some flashes. Lockers and CCTV. Vulcan canisters pre-placed all around the room. And a little bit more conventional from FaZe. Right? The Echo, the Smoke, the Koyo. Everything is saying that we want to defend default. And we don't really need to play for space up above. A pretty common hold towards, say, like open area. Elevators, you got the drop. You'll fall away pretty quickly. You're not going to contest. Handy will shoot and drop, or just drop. And then same will be as well for KDS in towards elevators. So everyone now in basement except Cyber, who's top floor square.
Now, so far, ITB have gotten good value off the back of the blitz. Understandably, FaZe not wanting to directly contest that. It's very risky.
Oh, this is absolutely cheeky from Cyber. If he doesn't get droned, he can basically win this round single-handedly, and he does get at least one. He goes so early and gets 2 because of it. I thought he would play for the late game, guys, to deny plans to try and shoot them in the back. Instead, he just shoots them from above, takes down 2. 2 for 1. 4 versus 3, 90 seconds left, and suddenly ITB have to rethink their approach a little bit here. Down to just 3 players. They've lost their blitz. They've lost their hard breach as well.
It's probably the cheekiest play I think we've seen from FaZe all day, and it reaps 2 picks, potentially a round to follow.
Just going to have to go direct here, send it in straight towards the bomb chassis for Creeds. They've lost one behind him. That was Noah. There's the beautifully placed gas bait.
Hold on.
Oh, hang on, indeed. 2v2, still 60 seconds. Could have maybe looked to try and pull out a little bit, but no, they still held in towards that smoke, and it does enough. Nicely done from Souls. Still the Echo available too. You can imagine those Yokais. Oh, that's a lovely shoot. A shot of the Goya canister. So that's a bit of a misplaced handy now. Has just got 45 seconds to try and create 2-1 versus 1s, and he does that. No trade to come through, and he knows where Handy is. 40 seconds, so he has the time to really play with him here. Doesn't need to play around the kit or the plant. He can go hunting. Red ping information now for Handy, so he does exactly know. But Azza has gone back. He's gone for the plant while there's still time. Goyo canister has been popped. He's off. 24 seconds. Needs to make the decision. Does he go for this kill or does he go for this plant? He will stick it. He has to now. The flames don't push him out. 15 seconds. You've got to go for the kill. Has to win the 1v1, but Handy's just better. Huge round 1. We haven't had many of them in this series where it comes down to a 1v1 like that. But Handy's better in that situation. That was a pure 50-50. That goes the way of FaZe.
Yeah, really good composure there from Handy. His positioning was absolutely perfect. Just did enough to draw the attacker off the plant. As we quickly recap the round, there was that huge 2K from Cyber, making things increasingly difficult for ITB, then forced to go deep. Smoke canisters proved to be very difficult for Creeds to deal with, and he got caught on an island. And then Azza tried his best to bait the plant, but Handy able to dance around those doorways, finds the kill, and FaZe very happy with that round result.
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, right, it's always one that you will look back on and say, what if I had done this? What if I had to try to, what if I tried to like push into a vault and try and get him behind him or something like that, or do something that he maybe didn't expect, go for a different plant position. It's a 1v1, you're at 40 seconds, so there's so much time that you almost overthink it. Instead, he actually plays probably the right way, which is the more default mentality. Try and force the hand of Handy to, you know, shoot those Vulcan canisters, for example, force him off the plant, so try and force him towards you, rather than you go hunting, you don't know where he really is. Great round to watch. 4 versus 3 though on the scoreboard now in favor of FaZe, so they've got themselves to that advantage. It's actually the first time that FaZe are leading in this series since the opening round of this series. Since round 1 of Chalet, this is the first time FaZe are now actually winning this best of 3.
Does that count as a fun fact?
Yeah, I think it does. We'll take that. It's getting late here, so there's not many more opportunities for a Xenox fun fact of the day.
No. Well then, round 8 we go, top floor.
Not expecting vaults from FaZe. I don't think they're going to do that.
No vaults. But the swing site could make or break the map for either team, just due to the nature of how it typically plays out. Osa in play from Kendrew. So that may be indicative that we'll see a more traditional push through top square and go for a plane in that position. Could also indicate a heavy repel game, and the talent shields may be used there. Cyber needs to be careful. Lobby repel.
Come on out, sheep.
Attention drawn, and so he will reposition. Can't quite tell who he's on, said repel. It is Azza, as Handy finds the first in the round, and that is the Osa, who I'm presuming was pivotal in the setup for the execute. Azza also falls, and FaZe Clan on the verge of taking back-to-back rounds.
Yeah, what does that remind you again? Skyscraper, denial of entry, getting these early kills, wanting to take contact fights.
Oh, that's Diffuser as well. So I'm assuming ITB looked for an opportunistic plant, and that has certainly not worked out.
Yeah, pretty common if you were playing that. Also, you can go in early, get the shield down, then the plant down, and that's a big win condition. That essentially is the round. For ITB, like 90% of the time, you're going to lose this round now. When the scenario that has played out has happened, yeah, I don't know if they can actually salvage this. It's going to take something absolutely enormous. 3 versus 5, Kit in a bad spot. You need basically Creeds to go and get a 2K on a lurk push through janitor hallway. Gives away his position, trying to open up a bit of a sight line in towards the other side of airlock. Oscar with a good kill on the Handy, but I mean, Cyber's just there for the trade. They got the numbers. That's the issue here. It's a 5-on-3, now 4-on-2. Just a 1-for-1 trade. The numbers with FaZe continue to compound that they are well and truly in the better position of this round. 5-3, looking very likely now. And ITB have really lost the handle here on Bank. Must win that 1v1 in towards the janitor hallway. Creeds can't get the shots to land entirely. 30 seconds left. He can slip into sight and get that kit, but certainly not in a position to do much more. And yeah, it's a deadly push. Angles covered everywhere. FaZe clinical. FaZe just starting to push a bit closer to taking out this series. It's classic England, isn't it? Just when it feels like it's coming home, it always slips away.
Oh. They're not going to like that one. You said it, not me. I'm not claiming that one.
Maybe it's a cast the jinx.
I think there's still plenty of fight left in ITV in this match.
There is, but it feels like FaZe, though.
Well, let's hold that thought. Handy is literally right next to the window in the corner, and he's gone unchecked. I don't know what information ITV had to make the call that they were ready to go for the plant in that instance, but clearly, it was never going to work. That was by no means close to a 50-50 gunfight. FaZe 100% of the time are going to win that fight, or like 99% of the time going to win that fight. And as you said, losing Osa in that fashion, especially doubling down with Diffuser then on an island on site, you are never winning that round without a miracle.
Yep. Yeah, and they need, I think, a miracle right now. What did they were like 3-1 up. ITB were 3-1 up. Now it's 5-3. So that's 4 rounds in a row for FaZe. It's pure momentum that has been built up here on Bank, coupled with the fact that they won on Skyscraper. Ever since that beatdown on Chalet, for those that maybe have only just tuned in, 7-1 on Chalet in favor of ITB, followed by a 7-4 win of FaZe on Skyscraper. Yeah, FaZe have been the better of the two teams. You can clearly see their class and skill level has risen to the challenge presented by ITB back on Chalet. 5-3. 2 rounds away for FaZe to book their place into the playoffs and to end ITB's stay at this tournament.
So an extensive holdover towards stock. Double keeper barriers in play and handy. 7 kills thus far. Will be eager to lock down this position, but equally can fall off and hatch if required. Sol's also in play. Sol's currently in staff room. So we'll see what kind of an impact he may have in gaining information through the mid-round. Counterplay available with the IQ. Lurk play for Azza.
Logic bomb too, so he's going to get information by said lack of information. Oh, this is interesting. This is really just trying to brute force their way through. Azza up, Spiral makes it work. But he tried to continue forward, and one top main gets that kill. Great eventually, Handy losing his life through the skylight. But the hands of Kendrew, and then pops that another Logic bomb. 2-3, still in favor of FaZe, with that Nitrocell kill from Cyber on to Noah. So a very short-lived 3-on-3. Kendrew up through, and in fact, both now on the second floor. 90 seconds to salvage this round for ITB. Once again, FaZe just looked that little bit cleaner, that little bit better.
And FaZe likely with a
camera
decent...
hack, by the way, so something to keep in mind.
Okay. Still, there should be some information available to FaZe and ITB. Whilst they may know where said information is, clearing it is a whole nother story, especially in the 2v3.
On the bulletproofs right now, you can see Creeds and Noah flicking a couple of defaults as well. 60 seconds left, so a little bit of information, at least for ITB, off of that, but only so much that you can play off of it. Kendrew's been so good here on Bank, 8 kills. Diffuser in hand for Oscar, but for FaZe, for Vidiking, Cyber, and Souls, it really is just bunker down on site, hold angles. We've got the numbers. If they drop hatch, we kill them. If they push through beepers, we kill them. We don't have to do much. Nothing Kenny can do here, but just watch on. Oscar prepared for the drop down. Have they got the angle covered? Absolutely not. He does get his kill, but Kendry lost his life pushing in from beepers. 1v2 with 20 seconds left. Oscar trying to just find them, but no one presenting anything. Really well played from FaZe, and the fact they're not swinging, the fact they're not peeking, the fact that they are forcing ITB to clear out those positions, really just again highlighting that this is a team with an immense amount of experience. FaZe Clan have got themselves match and series point. They've really worked their way through this series. ITB have been great, but great isn't enough.
Yeah, ITB have done a good job in grinding their way through this series, but FaZe, in the latter portion here on Bank, have offered so few opportunities for ITB to get openings or to get themselves back into rounds that it's been tough going for them. Even here, 3 versus 3, and then Cyber, great Nitro, 3v2. Nobody over peaks, then in the 1 versus 2. And FaZe now only 1 round away from progressing in the tournament and sending ITB home.
So 3 rounds in a row required for ITB. Chalet felt like maybe a false dawn after everything that has played out since. Competitive on Skyscraper, but competitive here on Bank. I think there's a lot they can take away from this, but unfortunately, as our Aussies Team Bliss fell short, it's similarities, right? Where it's like, just once again, unable to take that step forward. You think of Manchester going out phase 2, missed out on main stage for ITB. Now here, EWC, same thing again, missing out on playoffs. Unless they can win 3 in a row. On the attack, their Chalet's attack. Their Chalet attacks were absolutely beautiful. The strategies that we've seen from them have been great. The FaZe are just far more experienced. Cyber with 10 kills here on Bank, really leading the way, but it's been a team effort. 8 for Handy, 8 for Vidiking, 8 for Souls.
Well, one last roll of the dice then for ITB, and the Blitz will once again appear in this composition Can Kendra get to work on that blitz? We know just how good he can be on that operator. This entry, though, has been broadcast to the defense.
I love that pip of the cameras, by the way. It looks really good, especially with the Valkyrie.
Yeah, I mean, you can it visualizes how much information they have. And on a map as expansive as Bank, you often have blind spots. But by bringing the Valkyrie, by bringing BPCs, the Fenrir as well, it's more and more challenging for ITB to lurk in and find these favorable engagements.
Must win the early contact fights here if you're ITB. Absolutely necessary. Azza lurking through towers. There's the blitz.
There we
Flash,
go.
successful. Pistol out too. There's one up close as well. Lovely melee as well from Kendrew. He's making it work. Up to double-digit kills. He's been very good individually, but ITB as a team need to improve. 4 versus 3. Finally, somewhat of a winning position in one of these rounds. They haven't really been in this position since the opening portion of Bank. Triple down on site now for FaZe. Still need to clear them out. You do have that shield play, but you do still have to deal Vulcan canisters along with the smoke babes of Souls. So still some tricky obstacles to navigate now for ITB. Towards default they go. Vidiking up close as the Warden. ITB with the numbers though, they can play hatch, they can play default, they can certainly win this round. They should, for all intents and purposes, win this round and make it 6-4.
Well, it's quite rare that as an attacking team for Bank Basement, you will catch the defense before they rotate back to
I
site.
like this. Rotate, send the blitz in through elevator, catch them on the backside, and then look for the plant later. You got 35 seconds though, so change up from a default plant. We're going to try and push in through elevator in towards Vault now. It's working. 1-for-1 trade, but they do lose the blitz. Never mind, maybe it's not working. Although down to the moment is KDS. Creeds and Noah still up. Fraggers in a couple of the earlier maps. Down to Souls in a 1v2 with 20 seconds left. Kit is with Noah. You could go back to default. He does get it down. It's a 1v1, but coming through late is Creeds to keep this one alive. Oh boy. That one came down to the wire. Certainly an opportunity for FaZe to close out the series there in a 1v1. ITB breathe a sigh of relief. 6-4. Still, though, 2 serious points for FaZe.
Yeah, a little bit of a nail-biter there for ITB, but they keep their heads above water and extend this match for at least one more round. Great work up above. It's rare that you'll catch the defense before they're able to rotate down below, but facilitated by that blitz, they were able to achieve that. Really good from Kendrew. Big 2K. Slapped Cyber to the ground and finished them off. In the 2 versus 3, we thought, well, at least you stated, that it was likely going to be an ITB round. A little bit close for comfort, but able to get it across in the end. And finally, breaking the streak from FaZe, which has been insurmountable for ITB.
It was 5 in a row for FaZe. They were going to be looking for 6 to then close it out, but ITB have been able to just hold steady. 6-4. We head over to CEO for this round. Forthcoming. FaZe Clan looking to just wrap up this series, get it done, try and get themselves away from an ITB team that certainly has given everything. By no means leaving any kind of stone unturned. Amazing on Chalet, competitive on Skyscraper, competitive here on Bank. But it can't be an honorary loss, right? They've got to try and send this one to OT. 2 rounds to do so.
Attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Yeah, I think they've shown a lot of guts and a lot of bravery in this matchup. FaZe are a formidable opponent, but they've remained competitive. They've stuck to their guns. They've tried a wide range of strats and approaches on all 3 maps. So they've left no stone unturned. Still a couple more opportunities for them to extend OT here on map 3. The floor is in play for round 11. Likely in response to the Azami, Castle, and Malusi combo. All that bulletproof utility that can be cleared. So Creeds will be busy for a large portion of this round. Elsewhere in Elevators, a double stack from the defense. Maybe looking to draw ITB into the lurk. But Cyber elects to rotate up through main. So too will the other roamer. And so that play will no longer really have an effect in this round, and potentially then the opportunity now for this lurk. But the Valkyrie still in play has been very influential in this match in gaining information. This round no exception.
So approaching the halfway mark of this round, 90 seconds just about remaining. Still a 5v5, slower pace set by ITB. And potentially that could be their downfall. Potentially I think that might play into the hands of FaZe. Rotero out from Creeds. That was his final one, by the way. Still 2 EE1Ds available for Azure on the Lion to help with the entries. Janitor position for Cyber. 60 seconds left. ITB, that pace needs to be picked up. They need to start finding some critical kills here. Azure towards Spiral. They've certainly got players across the map, but it's all FaZe Clan in their 1v1s. And as a lot of the times in this series, it's a 5v1 for FaZe. They get it done. And in the end, FaZe are able to send ITB home. They deal with that enormous threat after a smashing on Chalet. They have responded on Skyscraper and on Bank and progressed through to get another playoff appearance.
FaZe survive. Unfortunately though for ITB, the same cannot be said and their key will be crushed. So too their hopes and dreams of progressing further here at EWC. A brave effort from them. I think they'll be quite pleased on reflection and how they played, but it's just about taking that next big step in future.
I think they'll feel disappointed that there was